see those cars fall off. But like I stated, fuel mileage for tonight's going to be somewhere around 35 to probably 37 laps, depending on the draft and how much you're actually getting out of the throttle through the turns. Obviously, if you're the leader, you're probably only going to get about 35. And if you're someone in the pack, you probably can get 37, but 36 would definitely be safe. 37, you might run out coming down pit road, but other than that, Kurt, the track is fast, multiple grooves, but I feel like if you want to be quick, not just the beginning of a run, you're gonna have to run that bottom to save tires to where the top just kind of eats them up going around the rim.
So we had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. We did catch your ending part there, but we missed my whole opening about Velocity Motorsports being at Las Vegas and the guys running or trying to roll the dice. Bringing up that standings again real quick, just to let everybody know what I was talking about. The top 12 drivers will be moving on to the playoff races. Nick Gowan is locked in, but not here tonight, and he could relinquish that top spot in the point standings to Jose Ruiz or by far chance for Tyler Belanger as well. The top four are locked in to go into the next round. Nick Gowan, Jose Ruiz, Tyler B, and Ryan Crooks automatically locked in and going to the playoffs no matter what happens tonight. The rest of the top 12 that is on your screen are in contention of being knocked out or being into the playoffs. As far as it goes, I think Nate Mon, who is out tonight, is at risk. If John Tiller, Jason Blaney, Bill Hells, Chris Murphy have a really good night tonight, he could drop as far as 12th or possibly 13th if Johnny D comes out and has a very stellar race and has a top 10 or a top point night for stage break and for the race at the end of the race. So if he comes out, leads a lap, gets to first in stage, and then finishes the race in first, he has the potential to knock Nate Mon completely out of the playoffs. If the rest of the guys in front of him do well as well. But Jovi Ray, Wesley Jeanette, Nate Mon, Brandon Watkins, Chris Murphy, Bill Hells, Jason Blaney, John Tiller, Johnny D, Andrew Bolander, Cole Martin, and John Osborne are fighting to get into that top 12 to move on to the playoffs, where they will have payouts for the top 12 positions. No matter where you fit in that position, you will have a payout. So the racing does not stop until we get to the end of the race at the Final Four championship race at Iowa. But Nick Gowan not here, Shad. That's a big deal. Nate Mon not being here. That's a big deal. We've seen Ryan Crooks get his fourth win of the season last week at Auto Club Las Vegas. Who are you going to decide as a top runner for this race here, Shad? We've seen Cole Martin win, I think, 4 different stage breaks. Stage break is at lap 60 this week. Does that continue as well?
I think Cole Martin wins everything tonight. Um, Ryan Crooks have shown really good on that long run. Both of them last week they were 1-2. If anything, Cole Martin's car might have been a little better on that long run. Cole Martin, since he came into the league, has shown a ton of speed, and has made up so much ground, Kurt, that he's in contention to make the top 12. He's only sitting 1 point back of John Tiller and Johnny D, who currently are tied for that 12th position. So Cole Martin, I think, is going to come in tonight knowing he's got to get as many points as he possibly can, and I think he's going to be quick. And I think, all the runs that he's had where he's been so close to winning, I think tonight he gets it done in Vegas.
Well, I can't disagree with you, but I'm still going to go with that number 2 car, Ryan Crooks. I've seen him run Las Vegas in multiple series, just like I've seen him run Auto Club in multiple series, and the dude is bad fast at Las Vegas. So I'm going to go with Ryan Crooks again tonight for his 5th win of the season. He also, just like Cole Martin, has had a tremendous season from coming in. Ryan Crooks technically came in week 2, but missed the ending of Texas as he led the race and then lagged out of the race. So he got bottom points for that. But he's also missed a race, and he's still up into the top 4, locked in to go to the playoffs. Cole Martin has come in and, like you said, just looked amazing from the get-go. I think he came in race number 4 or race number 5. Does not have a win, but he has at least 4 stage wins, which, Shad, as we know, 40 bonus points is a huge deal. If he can come out tonight again and do well in the stages and push himself up into the top 12, he's only 8 points out from the 12th position. John Osborne returning after last week's miss, Shad. He was up in ninth or eighth before the race started and dropped all the way to 16th with missing. So does John Osborne, who's been kind of steadily finishing in the top 12 pretty much all season, does he come in and get put back into the top 12? And then who gets knocked out if those two go in? If Johnny D, who's tied for 12th with John Tiller, if he has a decent night, which he's had some good runs in the stages and finishes, does he go up in? That's three drivers that could potentially knock three other drivers out. And I don't know who those three drivers are, but if I'm any driver in this situation, Chad, as you've been in yourself in playoff runs, it's got to be nerve-wracking to get to this point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is one of many cutoffs for this league for the playoffs. And this is going to set the playoff field. And I mean, there's a ton of pressure because you've paid money to run in this league. You want to try to make it in that top 12, try to earn some of your money back. If that's just your goal. If not, there is a heck of a trophy on the line that Chris Murphy posted when he won last season. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys, but I feel like the guys that have been running up front consistently. Maybe the pressure isn't as bad because they know that they have the pace. They just need to make sure that if they get wrecked, they hang on to that fast repair, or don't get wrecked again if they have to use it. And we've seen like Cole Martin have to use his fast repair early in the run, and then go the rest of the race and finish really well, and have no problems. Some of the other guys, Kurt, that are down there towards the end of that, or the bottom of that top 12, I hate to say it, but my buddy, Chris Murphy has had to use his fast repair multiple times and then wrecked again and wrecked out of the race. If he has another race like that tonight, he could find himself out of the top 12 and not being able to defend his title, which would be just shocking in my opinion if our returning champ doesn't even make it into the playoffs. But yeah, a lot of pressure for some of these guys. Obviously, the few that are probably locked in, Jovi Ray, I would say, is probably locked in, even though technically he's not. But I think by starting the race, he should be good. But yeah, there's a lot out there, Kurt, that got to find speed and got to find a good finish.
Well, the cars are moving, Chad. We've got the 1 to green, so we'll go into the gridding process. And Cole Martin will be our pole sitter for tonight at Las Vegas. Ryan Crooks will start second. Jovi Ray third. Jason Blaney fourth. John Osborne fifth. Ryan Horvath in the 26 will start sixth. Jose Ruiz seventh. John Tiller eighth. Tyler Belanger ninth. Johnny D 10th. Brandon Watkins 11th. Chris Murphy 12th. Austin Walton 13th. Nathan Line 14th. Isaac Brock 15th. Wesley Jeanette 16th. Mike Campbell, Papa Bear, will be starting 17th. Brian Phillips 18th. Bill Hills 19th. And Sean Walton 20th in our 20-car field, chat, as we get ready to run off this thing. It's going to be fast. It's going to be loud. It is Las Vegas. It's going to be fun as well for us up here in the booth. But these guys are rounding through turns 3 and 4 right now, Shad, and the two guys we picked are on the front row. So I think we might have had a little bit of inside help there.
Yeah, well, they've been the two fastest besides maybe Nick Gallen here, in the later part of the season. And
especially on mile
no surprise, no surprise to me that they're up front, Kurt. But we're about to see that green flag and start the final race of the regular season here in Velocity Motorsports.
Yep, green flag in the air as they go through the restart zone. We'll go into turn 1 of this D-shaped track. Shad, the dust is going to be rolling tonight, but we've got under the lights. Great venue. Love this track under the lights. No better place to run underneath the lights, and I like that we keep running tracks that are underneath the lights as well to show off these cars. Down the backstretch, Cole Martin is still leading this race and dives into turn 3 and 4, looking pretty good, Shad, with Ryan Crooks on the high side. Jason Blaney trying to use the middle lane.
Yeah, Cole Martin just barely was able to get up in front of Ryan Crooks on the exit of turn 2. And then when they sailed it off into turn 3, it looked like Ryan was just not ready for that car to be so tight. Like I was saying, they're kind of tight, not wanting to hold the bottom the first few laps until you get some heat in these tires. After that, they're on rails for quite a long time before you just start to lose grip. But still, out front, Cole Martin going to get that bonus point, Kurt, of leading a lap already. But he's got that 22 of Jason Blaney behind him. We know how Blaney is so fast on the short run. Does he kind of just sit here and bide his time? Probably not. If from what we've seen of Jason Blaney, he wants to get to that lead, and he wants it early.
Yeah, Jason Blaney is known for having the very fast short runs. He goes for the lead quickly, doesn't like to give it up. He's been a little aggressive the last couple races with some side drafting, some bumping, some banging, including with teammates. Does he have it tonight to come out and get that first win of the season in the regular season? We know last season, Chad, he won right at the end of the regular season and then went into the playoffs with that win. So is this the time that he comes out and grabs that win? He's been super fast on the short runs. He just needs to figure out the long runs, as we've been saying pretty much since season 1. He's gotten a little bit better at it, but he still has that urge to smash that pedal down to the floor. And I think a lot of guys have picked up on that, and they just sit back and wait. You were talking during the practice there that conserving tire because of this gritty surface at Las Vegas. It's a tire-wearing track, just like Auto Club, just like a couple others that we've run this season, where you want to conserve tire. You want to have those long runs towards the end of those big runs still have fast speed. Jason does not have that, so he's got it on the very short run. He's got it to about midway, and then he just starts falling off. Ryan Crooks and Cole Martin have been very fast with that. Jovi Ray very fast with that as well. But Chad, look at John Osborne coming up through here. He started P5. He's sitting P5 right now. He needs a big night to get back into the top 12, and this will do it for him if he can stay here all night.
Yeah, John obviously had a great qualifying effort, found himself up in the top 5 for qualifying, and has maintained that position. John Osborne, I think, is pretty good on the long run of races as well. He's not someone that comes out there and just runs qualifying lap times. So I think Osborne right now is just kind of riding. He knows if he comes out of here, gets pretty good solid stage points, and then a solid finish, he has a chance of moving up into the top 12. We'll have to see what everyone else behind him, or the guys that are that he's chasing, where they stack up the finishes as well. But all he can do right now, Kurt, is go out there and run that race and try to stay up towards that front, and then see where the cards lay.
And Ryan Crooks takes over the lead from the 22 and 31 Chad. Ryan Crooks going to the front is something he is familiar with. He led a lot of laps the last half of this regular season, including punching 4 wins throughout this. It's usually not a good sign when you see the guy who's been doing very, very well go to the front in the race. You kind of dread that, because you're like, wow, this guy's won 4 races. He's run and or led a ton of laps.
Gosh, out of the track, Kurt. Whoa. Looks like Tyler Belanger involved, 88 in between turns 3 and 4.
And he's got some damage on the right and left rear, Shad. Left rear looking worse than the right rear. And it looks like he's going to park it, Shad. He's got some heavy right damage.
He had to tow it.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some heavy damage on the right front and left rear of the car. He's missing the right fender. We'll take a look back here and see what happened to Tyler B, as he is now parked on pit road awaiting repair. All right, so we're getting on board with Tyler B, and looks like he has a run-in, Chad, with the 7. Back it up here just a little bit. It looks like they come off of turn 2, going down the backstretch. Chris Murphy coming up the track just a little bit. Tyler B coming down the track just a little bit as they enter into turn 3, trying to do that turn down to the line, Chad. And Tyler B and Chris Murphy fighting for the same space there, making contact. And Tyler B going to have the worst of that fight there, Chad.
Yeah. From what I see, I mean, yeah, Murphy is trying to side draft, obviously. But as they go to enter turn 3, it looks like the 88 just kind of comes down early, in my opinion. If you're on that outside, you have to wait until the inside car goes down. And I think he was kind of expecting or hoping that Murphy was going to have a shallow entry into 3, and that just wasn't the case to me. I'd have to say this is kind of on the 88 looking at it.
Yeah, it's tough to judge sometimes because you can't really see out the left side of the window or the right window. You just got to make sure that you can either hear or hit the directional or however you have set it up to be able to look out the left window net. And unfortunately for Tyler B, he was hoping or expecting the 7 to make that early entry into turn 3, and Chris was going to hold him up there just a little bit. And Tyler, I guess, misjudged it or expected it, and it didn't work out. But he does have the fast repair, Shad, so if he can get back to pit road and be towed, he'll be 2 to 3 laps down at this point. Once he's towed, he'll use the fast repair, come back out. We have the stage break, so he's going to get at least one of those laps back if he can be the first or only car 1 lap down or more. At that point, if we have more cautions, which this track does have a tendency to produce a couple cautions, Shad, for races because of the way people have to drive this track. So it's potentially a chance for him to get back up in there, but this is not a good start to his race, sitting there in P4 or P3 in the points.
Yeah, I think he said over race comms he's got like a 3-minute tow, so he's probably gonna go 2 or 3 laps down, and then if he gets some cautions here before the stage break, he could get him back as long as no one else is a lap down. So I would say he's out of it. Obviously, it puts a heck of a wrench into his plans because there was a chance that actually Tyler Bielinger could actually jump the 2 in front of him and finish first in the regular season standings. But obviously, with probably not being able to get any stage points, as he's actually moving now, Kurt. So he might only went 2 laps down. So Tyler Bielinger definitely has a chance.
Yeah, he's got to hope for another quick caution and nobody else to go a lap down.
Well, if he gets a quick caution, he'll go 1 lap down. Then he just needs to make sure if anyone else goes 1 lap down, he's the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, if he could hold out to the stage break too, so but
yeah,
he needs
he's 2
those
laps
stage
down
points
right now. Yeah, he is currently 2 laps down, so he's going to get 1 back possibly as long as no one else is a lap down come stage break. But I think that's not gonna be the only caution I think between now and that stage break. I don't think
so either. Like I said, this track does seem to produce some cautions, just the way you have to drive it, the speed, the tire wear, the exits are a little difficult for some people with spinning. So it's not an outside shot that this is our only caution before we get to that stage break. So he's got to keep himself in contention for that Lucky Dog Award and get back on the lead lap. If he can get back on the lead lap, I have a feeling he'll be up towards the, at least top 10 for contention for stage points, things like that, if he can get it done before then.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Bellinger didn't show too much speed in practice, but I'm sure he'll figure it out. And he's been one of those ones that tends to gamble, so why not here at Vegas? But Kurt, we get 2 quick cautions, he'll find himself right back on the lead lap before the stage, so can't count him out. Yeah, as long as he's not in him, he'll get the lucky dog and get back onto the lead lap hopefully. But Kurt, they're coming out of turn 4. Ryan Crook's gonna take him to the restart zone once again. Jason Blaney to the outside, Jovi Ray on the inside behind Ryan, and then John Osborne up to P4, Kurt, on that outside line behind Jason Blaney.
Well, into the restart zone they go. Ryan Crook's going to be first on the gas pedal. Screams it down the front stretch with the green flag waving. We'll head into turn 1 with Ryan Crooks leading. Jason Blaney on the outside. Jovi Ray down behind his one of his teammates there, pushing Ryan Crooks. Going into turn 1 and 2, Cole Martin down behind Jovi Ray, his teammate as well. John Osborne kind of floating there, watching to see what happens. And Chad, I'm kind of surprised up here in the top 5, and he's been sitting there most of the night so far. He has not really fallen out of that spot. He hasn't really shown fall off or anything like that. He started P6. He's sitting P6.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really get to watch as I was out there practicing the 26 to see how he is on the long run, but if this could be a good night for Ryan. Obviously, he's got the short run speed qualifying in the top 10. Just needs to have that long run speed, and he can, probably have his best finish of the season so far. But out front, Kurt, Ryan Crooks, Jason Blaney have pulled away from 3rd place runner Cole Martin, who made a pass on Jovi Ray for 3rd place. But now they are about a half a second behind Jason Blaney for P2.
And I'm looking at the board here too. John Tiller up to the top 7, Shad. He needs a good night as well, setting P12 in the point standing. So he needs to have a good night tonight, try to keep himself in that top 12 and not risk falling out of that top 12. But yeah, I'm watching the rest of the board here just to watch the colors. I'm getting those pulled up right now on screen so you can see them in the tower. And when I have the other one going across the screen, you'll see the differences. But yeah, everybody in green is automatically moving to the next round. Everybody in red is not set for going to the playoffs. They are all in contention of being knocked out of the top 12 or being in the top 12. Everybody that is purple is currently not in the top 12 in points, but they have a chance to get to the top 12 if they can. So we're going to keep a close eye on that throughout the rest of the night and looking at the finish to see maybe who moved up. And during these stage breaks too, Shad, we'll have to pay attention to that as well.
Yeah, for sure. You know, watching this front two, Kurt, I feel like there's kind of setting a pace right now that might be a little fast for the tires. Last time by, Ryan Cooks ran a 30 flat, and I just feel like if you're trying to get that long run speed, this is not where you want to be running. You want to be running more like the 30.3, 30.4 range. If you want to get the, you know, still have some good in these tires late in the run. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening with Cole Martin. As you see, everyone's starting to stack up behind him. I think Cole is just running a good pace for those tires. And, of course, everyone behind him is trying to get somewhere, and they just cannot pass him right now. But I wouldn't be surprised, Kurt, if here in about 15 laps we see Cole Martin starting to get closer to those leaders.
And I'm watching the top 10 right now, Shad, and it's starting to get piled up with drivers who are really trying to stay in the top 12. Look at the red that is down from P10 and on. I mean, Nate Lyon, Chris Murphy, Sean Walton, Bill Hills, Isaac Brock, Brian Phillips, Mike Hoffman, Rick Campbell, Brandon Watkins, all out of the top 10, including Tyler Belanger. And then you look at the top 10, and we have Jason Blaney, who's not in, Cole Martin, who's purple, who's not even in the top 12, Jovi Ray, who's not locked in, John Osborne, who's outside the top 12, Ryan Horvath, who's within the top 12 but not locked in, John Tiller, who's right there on the 12th spot, Wesley Jeanette, who's not locked in, Austin Walton, who's not locked in, Johnny D, who's just outside the top 12. It's a mixture up there, besides Ryan Crooks.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, you know, last race of the season, we're going to have that big mix-up of who's in, who's not. Luckily, you know, for the people watching, that you were able to put those colors on them, and so people could kind of get an idea of who's sitting where. But up front, Kurt, the two leaders are still constantly battling.
Yeah, side by side a little bit there.
You know, now John Osborne, one of those guys on the outside looking in, he's making a move around Cole Martin through 3 and 4 to take over P3. Looks like he's going to try to bring Jovi Ray with him. But I still think Cole Martin is just running a pace. Obviously, with the caution we had, guys, you know, the tires got to cool down a little bit more and kind of reset. But I still think Cole Martin's in that mindset of running a certain pace that he feels like can make these tires get to the end and still be quick.
And the fuel mileage, Chad, you said was right around 39, 40 laps, correct? So
no, 35 to 37.
Okay, 35 to 37. So we should have pit stops here right around probably what, lap 38?
With the caution, probably 39, 40.
Okay, so that's where I was going with that. But yeah, 60 is our stage break. So these guys know that they can make it to 35, 40 and pit and be able to make it to the end of the stage break. We won't see anybody, I don't think, this week, like we did last week, that does not plan on taking tires when we come to the stage break if they run long into this run and happen to just take fuel. That could be an option, though, Shad. On a pit stop, could you just take fuel and right sides to make it to the end of the stage?
I did not test it to see what kind of lap times you would be running. I think you'd be running at halfway decent times. To where maybe if there was, say, you pitted with 8 laps to go in the stage or the race.
About 20 laps, right?
About 20,
what is it? 22 laps?
What is it? 65 is the stage. 60. So
if they have
to go down
40,
35, yeah. if you go down to 40, there'd be 20 laps or so. It depends on what kind of lead you got. If you're
I don't
right
feel
up here
like
with
you
the
don't
leaders,
take tires. I feel like you either take rights or you take forward.
yeah, like I feel like you don't need all the fuel to get you to the stage, but you're definitely going to need some kind of tires because we're going to see about a second fall off. Guys are already running a half second slower right now than what they were earlier. So I feel like if you don't take tires at all, you're definitely going to get caught. But if you take rights only and you come out with like an 8-second lead and 20 laps, Kurt, these tires aren't the greatest off the bat either. So really, it's about 15 laps because it takes about 5 laps for these tires to come in.
But if you're outside
Someone
the top
could.
12 in points, would you risk it to try to get some extra stage points for bonus points to get you into that top 12 and then reset at the end of the stage with 4 new tires and fuel and then hope you stay up front?
If I'm John Osborne, he needs a lot of points. And, he's right here with the leaders. If he takes 2 and say like 7 gallons of fuel to get to the end, he might not even need that
Do
amount.
half a pit stop. 7 seconds, 8 seconds.
And you might come out with 5-6 second lead. Can you get ran down and 15 laps after these tires warm up? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think with the right sides, you'd be running halfway decent lap times, and we've seen it occur in other races where guys took rights only and we're still extremely fast. So
I think if you're outside the top 8, maybe. If you're outside the top 8 right now in the race, because all the way back to 8th is only about 1.3 seconds, which isn't too far. Outside of that, Chad, so if you're like Chris Murphy, who's sitting back in 11th, 1.6 seconds back, do you risk just taking rights, jumping a few guys, and hoping to stay in the top 10 by the end of the stage in 20 laps after you pit? Is that a fair risk?
For Murphy, no, because he's technically in right now. So for him, I wouldn't do anything that's going to gamble and maybe cost you stage points.
So only if you're outside the top 12 points.
Yeah.
So John Tiller, who are we looking at there? Outside the top 12 in points would be John Tiller, Cole Martin.
I don't see
anybody else.
Olander.
Yeah,
I don't
Olander's
even
not
see
here.
Olander.
Gowan's not here. Nate Mond's not here. So, yeah, let me pull up the standings. That might help us a little bit there.
I would say Osborne, maybe Johnny D.
Yeah, so Johnny D,
John
Bolander,
Tiller.
Cole Martin, and John Osborne are out of the playoffs currently.
Yeah, Cole Martin, though, being that he's sitting second, I don't know if I'd risk it. But then again, he has been saving those tires as he's worked his way from 5th all the way up to 2nd, right on the leader.
Yeah,
so we
Blaney,
know
who's been riding right there behind Ryan Crooks that whole time, is starting to fade off, Shab. We're 31 laps into a run. He's starting to get faded back. He's lost 2nd. Now he's lost 3rd with Jovi making the pass on him. Same with John Osborne, too, slipping back a little bit.
They're starting to lose touch with the leaders, too. They obviously don't have the draft now of the front 2 to where before, Cole Martin still had the draft. He was only a half second back. Now they're over a second back, so Jovi Ray isn't getting the benefit of the draft from the cars in front of him. Now he just got to get there purely on pace. But right now, looking at the front 2, Kurt, to me, it looks like Cole Martin saved his tires a little bit better. Just right now, he's having a hard time getting around Ryan Crooks because Ryan is running his line, which is the bottom.
So the preferred line is the bottom, Chad, and Cole has a little bit better tires. What can he do to help himself get around Ryan Crooks? Because you can't do it really on the straightaways. You got to do it on the exit of the corners, I would think.
Well, you need Ryan to go to the paint, the white line, or hit the wall like he just did right there. And if he goes down all the way to the white line and you enter high and then arc it down and get back on the throttle quicker, it should give you a good run on these straightaways. If not, you're just going to have to get to his outside and pinch him down and hope that you can get the momentum coming off of one of these turns and pass him that way.
I feel like once we get into a deep run like we are right now, Shad, it makes it even more difficult to run the higher line. I prefer the middle to higher line here at Las Vegas, at least entering the corner and maybe rolling out on the bottom and floating back up to the top. But it makes it to where it's so hard to pass. And Cole Martin's coming, Shad. 34
Yeah,
laps into the run.
I heard the 74,
22 coming, 12 coming.
Yeah, a whole bunch coming. So this is another way to pass them.
Yeah. Jump
Short
them on
pit
the
'em.
pits.
Yeah, you can make it to the end of the stage from here with 25 to go.
What is it Larry McReynolds says? Use the easiest place to pass on pit road.
Yeah, and being that it's iRacing and, you know, pit crews don't tend to make mistakes,
Well,
this is an easy way to pass them.
sometimes. We've seen pit stops around 13. We've seen pit stops around 15. To me, that's a mistake somewhere on pit road. But
See, and this is where I see a mistake with Ryan Crooks right now. He's coming out, and he stayed out. So he ran 2 extra laps right now. That's going to be at least a half a second or more a lap when Cole Martin comes out. He can come out, and he can easily run 30.2s or 3s.
Yeah,
which
Blaney's
is, you know,
right on the
6
rear
tenths.
of Cole Martin coming out of the exit of turn 2 right now onto the
And it
straightaway.
looks like Brooks is coming now. Jovi Ray and John Osborne both staying out with that 9 of Austin or Sean or 10. No, it is the 9 of Austin Walton.
And I wonder if this is as much as Jovi Ray and Ryan Crookshank trying to lead a lap to get an extra point.
Yeah, I mean, both of them I think are pretty well, and Ryan's sitting way up there, and Jovi, I think, as long as Jovi started the race, I think he's locked in, so, yeah, but, you know, every point matters, and you never know what's going to happen, but Jovi looks like he's coming. No, he stayed out again.
And Ryan made it to his pit stall, Shad, and he is about to leave here. Looking at the timings of those pit stops, Ryan Crooks had a 14.3. Cole Martin 14.5. Jason Blaney 14.2.
Yeah, here comes Cole Martin right now. Him and Ryan Blaney should get him maybe on
Jason
exit. Or yeah.
Ryan Blaney won the race on Monday.
Yeah. And yeah, there they both go. So they both jump him by pitting 2 laps earlier.
Yeah, but are his tires going to be a little bit better by
not right away. Theirs actually will be better because they got heat in them. He's going to struggle a little bit for a couple laps until he gets some heat in those tires, and then after that, I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference. You know, a couple laps. But yeah, right now when this cycle
for me, is right around 10 laps. That's when we start seeing the timing differences in the lap times, where we start seeing the fall off. But does he have the draft of these two to where he can stay in contention with them? And maybe put those 2 laps to use. It doesn't look like it.
He looks like he's losing it actually, and that's kind of just no heat in those tires. It's a little tight. You can't really roll the center like you can once you get these tires warmed up. But Jovi Ray, it sounds like he's coming this time, Kurt. He's definitely going to cycle back quite a few spots of the guys that pit before him. I think this is definitely should cycle out to where the 31 and 22 are going to be fighting over this stage win.
Well, look at the lap time, Shad. Jovi Ray, our current leader, who's coming down pit road, just ran a 31.003. Cole Martin, who is about to finish a lap, and we'll be able to see that lap time, he is running a 30.3. 30.2.
Yeah.
So about a second faster. And that's per lap because he ran a 30.0 the lap before.
But does Jovi take 2 tires? That's the thing.
Yeah,
right now, they still got to come all the way back around and pass him.
He's got rights on. Lefts are going on. He's got 4.
Yeah, so they're going to go by him as well. Now, John Osborne, Kurt, who was the leader, just came down pit road too. Osborne could take right sides. He's only got to go about 17 laps to the end of the stage. If he comes out with about 5 or 6 second lead, he could potentially hang on to it. Something I haven't practiced, but if he did during practice, he might know.
Osborne's up on the right side. And I'd say he's going up on the left side. There he goes, up on the left side. Now, Jose Ruiz has not pitted. He's still out on track with Papa Bear. Both have not pitted. Brandon Watkins not pitted. And Jose Ruiz has everybody 1 lap down, Shad. If a caution comes out right now, that pretty much screws the entire field.
Yeah. It would sit really good for Jose, Mike Campbell, and Brandon Watkins, but everybody else would be hurting, that's for sure. I mean, obviously they would take the wave around when the leaders would pit, but they would have older tires compared to his new stuff. So Jose stretching it farther than what I thought. I thought lap 44 with the caution laps, or lap 40, and here they are, 44, and
Oh, he's only
I
run
still haven't-
35 laps. I think he came down and topped off Shad during that one caution.
Well, if he did, then yeah, he definitely could go. Probably another 5 or 6 laps, I would think.
Yeah, because we were about 9 laps into that first run before we had the first caution there, and he's only run 35 laps. So I would say he definitely came down and topped off at the caution that we had back around lap 9, lap 10. Same with Mike Papa Bear Campbell and Brandon Watkins. Both of them came down, or all three of them came down and took fuel. Does that mean? I don't think Jose could make it to the end, correct?
No way.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm looking at the pit times for Jose. He took a pit stop of 5.5 seconds 36 laps ago. But no tires.
Yeah, something I am noticing, Kurt, that 7, Chris Murphy, who was involved in that wreck, he's up to 4th if this cycles through.
Yeah.
He's right there with Ryan Crooks. So big jump in as far as pit stops for Chris Murphy, who was, I think, 11th or 10th when the cycle started. So he's up there to 7th now. Would be 4th after the pit cycle would complete.
This would be a good thing for Chris to get some stage points, as we've seen the tally on the bonus points for stages that he is very low on it.
And now Cole Martin, Jason Blaney, Kurt both have unlapped themselves out around Jose Ruiz. So now Jose's just pretty much hoping for a caution because now everyone is going to be unlapping them. He's going to keep losing time.
He's second in the points. His only move tonight was possibly jumping Nick Gowan by being out.
Well, he's leading laps, so that helps him there. But when this cycles through, he's going to find himself outside of the top 10, I would believe, for sure. So he's going to lose out on stage points. But, hey, you never know. You stay out late, caution comes out, you have the whole lap, the whole field lap down.
Sounds like Papa Bear's coming.
Yeah, he just announced it there. He's coming this time. But
so that was 39 laps for him. Jose's staying out 39 laps.
Surely he's going to come 40. This time.
Chris Murphy unlapping himself. So Cole Martin, Jason Blaney, Ryan Crooks, and Chris Murphy have all unlapped themselves. Wesley Jeanette is about
Ruiz
to as well.
Coming this time.
I mean, it's not a huge deal for him, Shad. If he comes down right now and takes right sides, could he still come out with the lead and only have 10 laps to go?
I don't think he'll come out with the lead, being that, the leaders now technically would be in turns 1 and 2. He would come out, I think they would still get by him, and then he would have older left sides. But
yeah, but look at the timings difference between 2nd to 10th. He could still stay in the top 10 and get a stage point.
Well, their leader's about to come across start stripe right now.
Nope, he's taking all 4. Never mind.
Yeah. So yeah, that's going to hand the lead back over to the 31 of Cole Martin, followed closely by that 22 of Jason Blaney.
Trying to see where Jose Ruiz comes out.
Looks like.
So he ran 41 laps. So that helps us in the next grouping there.
Yeah,
so
looks
he comes
like he's
out
going to come out.
16th.
Yeah, so. Yeah, he'll have fresher tires, but they won't be that good right off the bat. As Brandon Watkins, Kurt, who just pitted now too. Watkins could, I don't know, stay out or get fuel only, and maybe.
I think he did.
Yeah, but everybody already passed him, so I don't think he's going to be the leader. Maybe.
It's going to be close.
Let's see what
he's not going to be the leader.
Yeah, there we go. It's updated now. Yeah, so he's actually going to be almost a lap down.
Yeah, but this is not helping Tyler B with his long green flag run either.
No, and all these cars. Let's see here. He is the only car a lap down at all, but that 45 Kurt, who's
close.
a quarter straightaway in front of the leaders. If he goes a lap down, that will pretty much really hurt Tyler B's chances, because now it'll take two cautions, not just a stage break, to get those 2 laps back.
Cole Martin continues to lead this race, Shad. We've got now 7 laps to go before our stage break. Jason Blaney has pretty much held on to P2. Ryan Crookshad held on to P3. Chris Murphy, the big mover, up plus 8 into 4th position. Wesley Jeanette, another big mover, up plus 11 into 5th place. Not sure what they did on their pit stops there, if they decided to come down the same time, I believe, that Cole Martin and Jason Blaney did, but they jumped a lot of drivers, Shad, to jump up into this top 6 to be able to get some good stage points. Chris Murphy needing those. John Osborne's going to be P8 right now, Shad. He needs some good stage points as well. So does John Tiller, who's sitting P6.
Yeah, well, the biggest fan right now of Tyler B is going to be that 45. But the problem is, Kurt, that 45 is running about 1.3 seconds slower than Cole Martin right now. So I don't think it's a matter of if, it's a matter of when those leaders get by that 45 to put him a lap down.
Yeah,
unless that 45
just now entering turn 1 and the 45's exiting turn 4.
Yeah, but I mean, Tyler's 2 laps down.
Well, yeah, I meant if he can pass. Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so, and 31's about to pass that 45 right now, so that would give the lucky dog to the 45 for the stage break right now, unless the 31 is able to catch the 13, Kurt, of Brian Phillips, who would be the next car.
Yeah, same with Papa Bear and Brandon Watkins. They're all only about 2 seconds in front of him.
Yeah, and if he puts even more cars 1 lap down, it just really hurts Tyler's chances. It would just mean that there would have to be that many more cautions for him to get laps back. 1 guy a lap down, we're going to get a stage break, which then Tyler would just need 2 cautions. But if 2 guys go a lap down...
Well, he would need 2 cautions plus the leaders to pit.
No.
Well, no, that would be just stage break. Sorry, to get waiver rounds is what I was thinking.
Yeah, but it looks like they're going to catch a 13 too, so that is not going to help Tyler B's chances. That means he would need the stage break plus 3 cautions to get those 2 laps back, as 2 guys now are 1 lap down. And it looks like they're catching Papa Bear as well, so the chances of Tyler getting back on the lead lap just are dwindling right now.
Chad, I think I said Cole Martin was going to win the stage, so so did you. So I think
I think I said he was going to win everything.
You said he was going to win everything. I think Ryan might win the race, but I think Cole will win the stage for sure. And the dude is just stage pointing the crap out of people here.
We've seen Cole Martin be really good on the long run. Ryan Blaney was trying to...
Jason Blaney getting turned by the 13 lap down car. Jason Blaney going the inside onto the apron and making it stick and staying on the track, or coming back onto the track. No caution out, but wow, the 13 and the 22 just had a close call there. That's probably not going to be a good thing for the 22 there in the driver's seat. He's going to be fuming with the 13.
And now caution is out for the stage.
Oof, and the 22 has some damage on the right side, Chad. Not very much, though. Looks like it's just a scrape.
Yeah, I mean, the 13, just bounced it off the wall. I mean, nothing he really could do. Blaney could have maybe gave a little bit more room as he was getting passed by the 7 of Chris Murphy. But, I mean, I understand he's trying to fight for every point as well. But, I mean, that's what happens here. Guys get tight and push off the exit of these turns and tend to smack the wall.
Now, if you're Tyler B, Shad, could you do anything here to get a lap back? And, I mean, could he stay out and take a wave around and hope that another quick caution comes out? He only pit 14 laps ago.
That would be about his only chance, would be to stay out and get down to 1 lap down.
And try to finish in front of Papa, Brian Phillips, and Isaac Brock if a caution comes out.
Papa should be Alexandria Customs lucky dog right here. But Tyler, I think he's just got to stay out. Hopefully, he took care of those tires, and then that there's a quick caution, and maybe he's not involved, or he's the first car one lap down. Obviously, he had to start at the back of the field, so he's going to have to pass a couple of those guys who are a lap down that will probably have fresher tires. But yeah, that's about his only chance right now is just to stay out here and hope for a quick caution.
Well, Papa Bear in that 71 in the Nigu team paint scheme, receiving the lucky dog from Alexander Customs. PC builders that you can definitely appreciate and go and get a brand new computer built for you from them, specifically designed for whatever games you play on PC. They'll do everything they can with warranty and helping you make sure that you have the best experience there. Go to alexandriacustoms.com for anything you need PC-wise with custom builds. Yeah, we'll try to pull up Cole Martin if you can. If you can find him, we'll talk to him as our stage winner again.
All right, he's up.
All right, Cole, you got a copy of the Swats and Cadillac in the KS Game 51 broadcast booth.
Yeah, I got y'all.
All right, Cole. Seems like we're talking to you every single week when it comes to the end of the stages. You are now another stage 1 winner. How did you accomplish this, and what does that car feel like to you?
It's pretty stable out here. Kind of gets loose on the outside when you're outside of someone, which is kind of weird. But I'm trying to get all the points I can right now to beat Tiller to the playoffs. So this helps a lot, though.
Well, Cole, I picked you to win everything tonight. You had to make up some ground to get yourself into the top 12 for the playoffs. Obviously, winning that stage helps. I think you're going to have a good car on the long run. You and Ryan Crooks both have kind of been those cars that have been really good on the long run. You just pitted a lap earlier there and were able to stay and maintain that gap that you had on him. How's the car feeling for tonight?
Feels pretty good. It gets kind of tight at the end of the runs if you burn your tires up. So my plan is just to save the tires, and I tried to a little bit in that first stage, and that caution came out. It kind of messed everything up. So I kind of pushed there after that restart, and then came in and pitted. And I didn't save fully on that last run there, but I saved a little bit there. I pulled away from Blaney, so it seemed to work.
All right, Cole. Seems like a great race for you so far. We'll see how you come out here. It looks like Ryan Horvath decided to stay out on old tires in front of you. But you'll be on a different lane, so hopefully you can clear him going into turn 1 or turn 2 coming out. But good luck on the rest of the race.
Thank y'all.
All right, Chad, if you want to send him back down to where he was at, we'll get back into the rest of the field here to see what we got going on with the order here. Like I said, it looks like Ryan Horvath has decided to stay out, Chad. He only pit for 26 laps ago, so he's only going to have maybe, 15 laps of fuel in that car. He's probably hoping for a quick caution. I don't know if he was a lap down, though, Chad.
No, not if he's the leader.
Yeah, so I don't understand why he would have stayed out, but maybe he missed pit road.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously trying to get track position, even though he was up there in the top 5. But, this isn't going to help him. His tires are going to be pretty old. And
I'd say he goes back pretty quick.
Obviously, with needing fuel here in a little bit, he's actually going to cost himself, I think, unless there's a quick caution. But even that, if there's a quick caution, these guys aren't going to pit, so he's going to fall back to the rear anyways. But what this did occur, it really hurt Tyler Belanger. Tyler Belanger planned on staying out, getting that wave around, but I didn't see it, and he didn't see it.
Yeah.
The 26 stayed out. I wasn't able to decide right now of that 26 machine.
Yeah, I don't see the smarts in that decision unless he just missed going down pit road, or if he was really just trying to hurt Tyler Belanger's chances of getting one lap back. But I think it's really going to hurt him if the caution does not come out here quickly, so that he can go down and get fuel. But he's going to go to the back of the field anyway, so I don't see the point of it. But I guess he knows what he's doing. But Shad, Cole Martin going to take back the lead and going to try to stretch over Ryan Crooks and Jovi Ray. These three, Shad, have been very, very fast. Nick Gowan being the other one that's been really fast in this grouping as well. Chris Murphy, though, Shad, still sitting in the top 5 with Jason Blaney on his rear. Good points night for Chris so far. Hopefully he can finish out this race without having an incident. He's been involved, I think, in every single race. He's had at least one incident. Being our past champion last season, it's not been a good season for him, but he is currently sitting in the top 12 in the points and looking to have a good night tonight.
Yeah, Ryan Crooks trying to get that lead away from Cole Martin. Cole Martin, though, kind of battling back on the inside. Does not quite clear him right there. Ryan Crooks still hanging on that outside as these two will battle it out for P1. But I think Cole Kurt is just running a certain pace. And we've seen that his car was really good on the long run there. So I think Ryan might want to take some notes to where his pace might be a little too fast for those tires on the long run.
Yeah, the mid to high line, Chad, I think wears out the tires faster than the bottom line, correct?
Yeah, because you're carrying more speed, and with this gritty surface that just gets pounded by the heat and sand, I feel like you really don't save tires on the middle to high line. It actually burns them up. So
I haven't seen
Cole
venture to the middle or top. So
no, just running the bottom, kind of like Atlanta used to be. If you ran old Atlanta on the high side, yeah, it was really fast, but it burned your tires up. If you ran the bottom, you could save your tires. Also, Homestead's like that as well. So I think that's what Cole's doing. He's just running a pace that he knows can get those tires to where they're still good on the long run.
Yeah, these front 3 have kind of broken away a little bit, or front 4, sorry. Nope, front 5, sorry. I've broken away a little bit there, Shad. Jason Blaney has about a half-second lead over 6th place, which is John Tiller, who got some good stage points there to try to keep up with Cole Martin. Cole Martin was only a couple points behind him to start this race, so Cole winning that stage definitely helped him, but John Tiller definitely helping himself as well. We know John Tiller was tied for 12, Shad, so
3 wide for the lead, Kurt.
Wow. Jovi Ray going for it, Shad, on the bottom. Ryan Crook stuck in the middle. Cole Martin coming off the top. Did they make contact? Looks like they're going to make it through there. Ryan trying to move back and forth between each car there. Jovi Ray is going to get the worst of that one, Shad. He's going to have to hold off on the bottom. Chris Murphy looks like he got out of the gas pedal a little bit there coming into turn 3 to give Jovi room, which is going to allow Jason Blaney to get by him and John Tiller, as well as Austin Walton in the 9 to get closer.
Yeah, I don't know if this is saving tires for this front 2, but you know, we know how much that clean air is king around here. And it looks like Cole is going to take that lead back over, so now he can be out front setting his pace and making these guys have to ride in that dirty air.
Well, we're just over the halfway point here, Shad. When do you expect to see pit stops? Do you see guys try to run it long in the pit stop now that we know that Jose was able to go 41 laps? We're 13 laps into the run now, Shad. If they could go another 27, that would put them at the 30 mark. If they could go another 37 or 20,
it's going to be 2 pit stops. I mean, the stage was at 60, and we went back green. I think it was 62 to 63, lap 63, I think it was. So that would put 77 laps. I don't know. You might actually be able to make it on 1 stop.
It'll be close.
If you can do 38 and then 39, you could make it. But you know, if you're the leader, I don't think you're going to get close to that.
And I'm trying to find or figure out the run here because I'm seeing. Let's see, we're on 65 to go now as they cross the line. So, yeah, I think 1 stop could be close for a couple guys. If you're Jose Ruiz sitting back here, Shad, in 10th, and he's conserving tire and fuel like he did in the first run there to make it all the way to the end of the stage, or close to the end of the stage, if he could run 41, Shad, that would give him a big advantage to go into the last stint of the run. But we've seen the lap time fall off. So I don't know if it's going to be a good idea or not.
Well, I know one thing: the lap time is definitely not falling off for the leaders, as you know these front three all running around the 30.2 mark, which they qualified. The pole was 30.1, so yeah, they're right now still out here burning these tires. I think you got to back up the pace a little bit. But yeah, Kurt. So 140 laps. The stage was at 60. Go back green was about 63. 77 laps. If you can do 35 and then 35, that gives you 70. You got to find 7 laps somewhere. If not, then you run this thing ragged and you come down and short pit it and split it up into 2 pit stops. But that's about the only thing I can really say. If not, you're in the back there conserving, letting off the gas, which could be why we're seeing Chris Murphy drop from out of the top 4. He maybe want to get some of that draft and try to clutch it.
Well, I'm going inside of Chris Murphy's car right now to see if he is doing that, but I'm not hearing anything as of... Nope, he is. He is clutching it. Entering the corner, he is clutching it. Or at least letting off completely. But the RPM is going to 0.
Yeah, so he's clutching it. Yeah, he's shutting the car off. So yeah, Chris Murphy, someone that we've seen try to play this long game before. If he can make it, 37 and then 40 or 38 and 39, you could make it on one stop.
I don't know, it seems like a lot to gamble, Shad, because if he runs out with, 5 laps to go, I just don't see him being able to do it. And then the tire fall off. That's the biggest thing for me is the tire fall off. If they run 35 in pit, they're going to have 4 extra laps of being on fresh tires, which we've seen, towards the end of the run be a second off. That's 4 seconds they would be making up on Murphy. And then if he's having to clutch and do all this stuff and he moves to the back of the pack, I don't know.
Well,
it seems like a lot.
He's still under 2 seconds from the lead. Murphy's still under 2 seconds from the leader, so he's not that far off of the lead right now, and he's sitting there clutching it. Which obviously clutching it saves the tires because you're not driving it in as deep or as hard. So his tires should actually be really good. The telltale is how far he makes it on this front run. If he doesn't go 38, 39 laps, there's no way he's making it to the end. So
yeah, and at some point you can't bail out of it either because you've already made your bed. As far as the positioning, if you fall out of the top 10 and you're, say, 15th, by the time you pit the first time, I don't know. That's a lot. And I thought John Osborne was maybe doing the same thing since his teammates with Chris Murphy, but he is not clutching it.
Yeah, Osborne way off the pack.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on
there. But that is not what Osborne needed. Osborne needed a top 5 finish with stage points to be able to give himself a chance at getting into the top 12. So, there's still a long way to go. He got the stage points, so he just needs to figure out what's going on here in these final 57 laps and try to reel in some positions and at least get himself back up in the top 10.
And Chad, I don't know if you can do the quick math here for me, but Ryan Horvath has hit pit road. He hit pit road 10 laps ago. That would be, 20... So we pit on 60, we're on lap 84, so that was 74. So he went about 15 laps before pitting. What does that do for his fuel mileage? Can he pit one time and finish? I would think for sure, but he's already 1 lap down.
Well...
And he's not quite secured in the top 12, so...
Yeah, so some guys are trying to make it on one stop. He just took the one stop out, and he's got to do one more from here. But he should be able to make it after that one stop. Now, Murphy, on the other hand, he's trying to make it on just one stop to where, Horvath has already figured, I'm doing 2 stops. I know one of those stops is got to be a short stint. So he's just trying to, get that right out of the way and not have that tire fall off. And plus, Horvath did not pit at the end of that stage, so he needed to pit anyways.
Yeah, I think it's trying to do a quick caution. But Cole Martin, Ryan Crooks, and Jovi Rayshad stretching their lead over the top 5 there. They pulled away from Austin Walton, who's moved into 4th, Chad. This is a good run for Austin Walton if he can hang on to this top 5 finish. But Cole Martin, Ryan Crooks, Jovi Ray stretched out about 8/10 over Austin Walton, who then has a decent gap over Bill Hells as well. He's got about a half-second gap over Bill Hells and Chris Murphy.
Yeah, Bill Hill's one of those guys not locked in. Needs to come away with a solid finish.
Points, so.
Yeah, needs to come away with a solid finish. And, currently sits 6th right now. So, doing what he can. I don't think Bill got any stage points, though. So,
he's in 10th.
Huh?
He's 10th in the points, sorry. But he is only 10 points up on 12th position.
Well, I mean, that's like winning a stage. So, he could afford to give away the stage. Just needs to have a solid finish because we know Cole Martin won the stage, so there's those 10 points.
Yeah, we know Jason Tiller and Jason Blaney got stage points as well. Looking at the standings, really, Hales, who's sitting 10th, has 317. Blaney has 316. We know he got stage points. John Tiller, 307. We know he got stage points. So they all closed the gap on Bill Hales. I would say Blaney probably jumped Bill Hales. Murphy got stage points, so that helps him extend over.
Cole Martin
10.
was what, 306?
Cole Martin's 299. So he is 8
306.
points. Not according to this thing. He has 8 points short of Johnny D and John Tiller, who are tied for 12th and 13th. Andrew Bolander is who you were probably thinking of, Chad, in 14th with 306. So Cole Martin get those 10 points, puts him at 309. Johnny D, I did not see get any points in the stage. John Tiller did. So that closes probably Cole Martin into 13th, John Tiller into 12th. Blaney probably moves up into 10th.
For some reason, I don't think those points are right because on the website, it shows Cole Martin have 306. Bolander has like 289.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the points that Tyler T gave us as a graphic with Ryan Crooks having 4 wins, which would be correct there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if the iRacing points are updated correctly, but for this one, I don't know. But what I've got is what I'm looking at. So
Maybe they got the names backwards.
that's possible.
But anyways, Kurt, up front, the lead has changed. Ryan Crooks has taken it back from Cole Martin. And Austin Walton, Kurt, has closed in on those front 3. He is right there now with those 2, or with the 3 up front. And then we got about 1.3 seconds back to 5th place runner, which is Chris Murphy.
Yeah, I think Austin's actually running a little quicker lap times than the front 3, Chad. So I don't know if he was conserving at all. I think he was pretty much running ragged from the start. And that's what moved him up through the top 10 and gotten him up to the top 3. But we know that those top 3 were also running ragged. So Austin Walton just ran a 30.984. The leader, Ryan Crooks, ran a 31.009. Second ran a 30.985. So only 10 100s faster there, 10 1,000s faster than the top 3. So I don't know if that's, I mean, he pretty much ran identical times to what Cole Martin ran, who's sitting second. But he definitely closed the gap. He was about a half-second back, and now he's only a 10th.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he falls off of these guys here in the coming laps, or if he stays with them. If he stays with them, then
We're
he's
33 laps into
tires.
a run, so pit stops are coming. So I would feel like at this point, he either conserved them or he wouldn't be here, I would think. But if pit stops, we're at 34, Sheds. You said they had to run 37, 38?
Well, I will say that the 31 and the 33 both are clutching.
Okay. I wonder if Ryan Crooks is then. He typically
No.
does not.
He is not.
Well, I guess it'll be a tell sign of how once they all start making the green flag stop, Shad, I think then we'll be able to really determine what we're seeing here with these guys. But Chris Murphy, Shad, if he's clutching still, he's sitting P5, which is not terrible if he's been clutching.
No, he's not too far off, of this front 4. I'm going on board with him right now to see if he still is clutching. And yes, he is. So
he's not clutching for very long, but it's definitely
it'll
definitely help save a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you do that for 35 laps, you might save a couple laps.
So here's the quandary, though, Chad. If he runs 39 or 40, we saw Jose do the exact same thing in the first part of the stage, and it did not work for him. If these guys short pit him at 36, 37, 38...
True, but that was coming to a stage break.
Correct.
This is coming to the end of the race to where these other guys may have to pit a second time. You have to come down a second time when someone else only has to come down once. You're going to have to make up not just a lap, but probably a lap and a half on somebody in closing lap.
If a caution doesn't come out also.
Yeah.
If he laps the entire field and a caution comes out, he's going to be able to pit and everybody else is going to be screwed. Or at least would have to take the wave around, but I guess it wouldn't really matter. But they could have older tires.
He's 3 seconds back right now. You know, when these guys pit and then he pits, you know, a few laps later, yeah, that lead's going to go up to like 7 or 5 seconds. But then he might not have to pit again to where they have to come down pit road. And we've seen the delta for pit road. It's at least like 28, 30 seconds. So, you know, if you're only back 5, you're going to come out when they pit again with 25-second lead. And they're going to have to run that down in only a handful of laps. So he could, but, you know, with seeing Jovi Ray and Cole Martin also doing it now, if they can stretch it, then obviously that's a huge game changer. And, you know, not only does Chris has to continue doing that, but then he has to try to run these guys down.
Well, I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to pull somebody that is parked on pit road. Tyler B, you got a copy of this? Swats and Shadowlack in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, but we've seen that you pulled off track there, wondering what's going on with your car. We saw the incident early on. You know, how's the track feel for you, or how did it feel? And then, I guess, what are you doing on pit road?
It felt amazing. Had a really fast car. Had a chance to get back close to the lead lap, and for some reason the 26 decided he was going to stay out last second with 25 lap old tires. No idea why. So race was going to go green, so I figured I'd update the stage points and sit on my ass. I mean, there's nothing I can do at this point. Really frustrating way to end the season. I'm going to drop numerous spots in the points and be pissed off the rest of the night, so that's fun.
Is there some sort of beef there with Ryan? Because we were kind of confused at the same time too.
No, not at all.
25 lap
I have no
tires.
idea. It was last second. Like he acted like he was going to go in the lap before, and I was like, okay, so I guess he's taking a wave around too. I didn't realize he was going to be the leader, and then with 2 to go, it told me to drop all the way back, and I'm like, you know what? I literally had top 5 speed out there. Like,
oh, I saw you making passes.
That last run before I parked it, I was on 16 lap older tires. I passed 7 guys in 10 laps. As 2 laps down. Like, I had speed to run top 5 tonight easily. Me and Murphy just got real tight on each other. It's probably more on me than anything. I'm really surprised that little contact led to that. But
yeah, it looked like when you went to enter the corner, it looked like you maybe thought Chris was going to enter the corner a little early, and he didn't enter. So
I don't know.
He stayed up there with you.
It pisses me off because I was going to the back to avoid an early wreck. Like, I had this, I was like, I'm going to save my tires. I'm just going to hang out, and I'll move my way up to there instead of going to the front. And it seems like every time I've done that lately, I've been taken out. And not that he took me out, but it just hasn't worked out for me. So, I don't know, man. Going into the playoffs with no momentum, it sucks. It's just crappy second half of the season for me. And kind of over it, man. We'll see what happens.
Shad, any questions for our owner admin as I brought him up in here in the booth?
Well, obviously not the night you wanted, Tyler. I mean, I thought you might be able to get back into it, but when that 26 stayed out, I mean, it was pretty much over after that. But, you know, big developments happening right now, Kurt, as Jason Blaney and Murphy both came down the same time. Murphy, though, got loose and wrecked on entry, able, though, to, you know, keep her straight at least after hitting the wall. But, Kurt, they got 37 laps to do. They can easily stretch it to the end, I believe, to where Ryan Crooks might not be able to. And then, you know, Jovi Ray, he's pitted 1 lap early, and Cole Martin 2 laps earlier than what Chris Murphy and Blaney did. So they're going to have to go 38, 39 laps to where I think Murphy and Blaney might be able to go without having to save.
Well, Tyler, we appreciate you coming over to the booth. We sorry about your bad luck tonight, and I guess maybe we'll talk to you at the end of the night if you've got all the points updated and everything. You can come in and out to the top 12 we're going to be.
Yeah, stage points have already been implemented. So once this race is official, points will be accurate.
Okay, and actually, while I have you up here, I haven't announced it yet, so I'll let you, if you want to, go ahead and announce the All-Star race for next week.
Yeah, we took Bristol off the schedule earlier in the season because we didn't feel like it would be a points race after Rockingham earlier on in the season. So you were going to miss a playoff race for the broadcast, so we decided to push back the start of the playoffs 2 weeks. Next week on Tuesday will be Bristol All-Star race for cash payout, and then we'll have a bye week and start up the following week, 3 weeks from now at what is it, the Indy Road Course.
Yep. All right, well, so that's big news there. All-Star Week next week, Shad at Bristol, another track that we all like. I went to it last year for the playoff races in NASCAR, for the Xfinity and for the Cup. It was an awesome race to watch. Not a big fan of it on iRacing. I can do okay at it, but it usually turns pretty violent for me by the end of it. So, Tyler, we appreciate you coming up and doing the broadcast here and giving us that announcement. I'll send you back up there with your race control and let you maybe drink the night away.
Sounds good.
All right, later. All right, Chad. Yeah, big news while we were doing the breaks there, talking to the owner admin about stuff. We had the pit stops happen, all the green flag stops happen. Only Chris Murphy Shed really struggled in pits where he came down, got loose. We saw it live on screen. He turned himself into the inside wall, had some damage on the left front, but quickly adjusted and used his fast repair shed prior to coming down pit road, or before getting into pit road, before it locks him in there. So he was able to check it off and come down and use his pit or his fast repair on pits. Came out at the same time as Blaney, and he's put himself in contention, Chad, for a win, like you said, with the fuel.
Yeah, the only problem I see is, the gap between him and the leaders. I do see Cole Martin still clutching it. So, Cole Martin obviously had to, he pit 2 laps before Murphy. Jovi Ray pit 1 lap before Murphy. He's clutching it as well. If they could stretch it 38 or 39 for Cole Martin, they got a big enough gap to where they can really let off, going down the straightaways or just clutch it for longer. The big thing is Ryan Crooks. He pit a lap before Cole Martin. So I don't believe he can make it at all. And riding on board with Ryan Crooks.
Don't forget about Austin Walton there.
Yeah, he's not clutching at all. Austin Walton pit when? With
Lap
Cole Martin, I
after.
believe.
He pit with Jovi Ray and Cole Martin.
Yeah, so. And riding
Jason
on board
Blaney
with him.
A couple laps after those guys did.
Yeah, he pit with Murphy, but yeah, Austin Walton not clutching it as well, so I don't think he's going to make it without clutching it. So I believe the 2 and the 9 Kurt will not make it on fuel. That would leave the 33-31. Now, the 33 obviously has more fuel, pitting 1 lap later than Cole Martin. But if Cole Martin can get to a point and be like, okay, I'm good from here, and get back in front of Jovi Ray, Jovi's going to have to be better than him on the long run. We've seen Cole Martin be the best car probably on the long run. So if Cole can eventually get to that point, it could be a heck of a race. As I see the 9 Kurt give the 2 a little bit of a shove going off into turn 1.
Yeah, those guys are kind of pulling away, but I don't know, Shad. I'm not good with the fuel strategy. You've always been the one to figure it out. You've done the math quickly, and you're the Larry McReynolds up here with figuring out fuel strategy and calling it out a lot of times before we've even figured it out, or I've figured it out, or anybody else in the booth has figured it out, and you're kind of right on pace with what the drivers are thinking because you race so much. So it's just, I don't know. I don't know if the front 4 if they could conserve a little bit of fuel, like Cole Martin's doing, he's making the other three drag him around this track, and he's clutching it. If he could find a couple laps there to be able to make it to the end, he'd be on pace with what Jason Blaney, Chris Murphy, and a few of those guys are able to do now. I don't know if he would fall off as far back as them because he's 9 seconds out in front of them. So he's got a little leeway there. Ryan Crooks has just given up the lead, Chad, and I don't know if that's more to try to conserve fuel as well, to let maybe Austin Walton go out here. But Austin Walton's going to lead a lap, which is going to give him a point. He's, I think, is he within the top 12?
I'm not sure.
So looking at this right now, no. He is not within the top 12. So not in contention of jumping into the top 12 unless there's some big thing that happens from 12th or from 13th on back, or 12th on back. But Ryan Crookshad moving up the track and now going to go back around Austin Walton. So not sure what was going on there. Maybe he just missed the bottom. And
it looked like he might have clipped the apron through 3 and 4, and it just sent him up the track, and that allowed Austin Walton to get by him. But Kurt, if I'm Cole Martin, I'm doing exactly what he's doing. Let these 3 cars pull me around. You save gas in the draft, and then he's still clutching it, so he's saving fuel there. Once he gets to a final spot where he knows, okay, I'm good from here, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts to go around these guys. And we'll know it. We'll know he hit his fuel mark when he does that. But, you know, Chris Murphy, Jason Blaney, and Nathan Leinkert all came down, I believe, the same time. They're 8.5, 9 seconds back. I don't think they're going to make that up unless these guys run out of fuel. But, you know, I'm riding on board with Jovi Ray and Cole Martin. You know, Jovi Ray, Cole Martin still clutching, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do stretch this.
Yeah, I think Jovi and Cole are able to do it. I don't think Austin and Ryan are, but we know Ryan went and got sim racing apps after we told him about it on one of the tracks where he went and got it. So he's got to have it up on screen where he can see his fuel. He's got to know his 2-lap average and what he could have.
That's if he downloaded it.
Well, he said he did. He said he used it last week. So I think he's got to know what he's got to have. I
think he would have had to go 40 laps, and he's not saving at all.
No,
he's actually leading this back. Yeah. So I don't think he's going to be able to make it. I think he was hoping to go out here and run really fast laps and pull a gap. Problem is, he hasn't done that with the draft. Vegas is a very draft-heavy track to where it's hard to get away. And he's pretty much just tugging these 3 around the track, and I think it's going to fall between the 31 and the 33, the way this is shaping up. Neither one, Kurt, has a win. Jovi's been the maid of honor how many times? Wouldn't it be crazy if the final race of the regular season is where he wins it? If Cole Martin finishes second, I would think he would be in the top 12 as well. But
I would say
Cole Martin, Cole Martin hasn't gotten a win either. So
no, and he's won how many stage wins and hasn't been there at the end to get the win. He's finished second a couple times or third, but he just doesn't have the win. He can win stages, he just can't win the race. So is tonight the night? I don't know. I think it would be awesome to see a first-time winner. We haven't seen a first-time winner in a while because Nick Gowan has 2 wins. Nate Mon has 2 wins. Ryan Crooks has 4 wins. So, you know, there's 8 of our wins of our 11 races so far. And then the rest of the wins were by somebody else. So, I don't know. I think this would be cool to see those 2 clutch it out and come to the finish line and win it. Jovi seems to be going now, Shad, so maybe he's hit his mark.
Yeah, Jovi is not clutching it, so I think Jovi has hit his fuel mark.
And you know Cole and Jovi are teammates, so they're talking to each other right now in their own team Discord, and they are lined up on the outside versus the 2 lined up on the bottom who have not been saving. And is this the time for these 2 to go? Wow, Ryan Crooks comes up to throw the block on the 33, gets it back down to the bottom. That threw the 31 off of the 33 down to the bottom. See if they can make it up on the outside again. 9 going to come up and block the 31, Chad. This is getting racy. With 18 laps to go, they're running like this. Oh, a little bump from the 31 to the 9. Shuffles the 9 to the backside. And I agree, Chad. I don't see Nate Line, Jason Blaney, Chris Murphy getting to these guys, unless they run out of fuel or have to pit.
Well, Cole Martin is still clutching it, but I mean he's not losing time. So
And he gained
if
one
I'm him,
position. So
and Jovi now is back to clutching it as well. So they're not losing time. So why not do it? Those fifth, sixth, and seventh, which is Nathan Lyon, Jason Blaney, Chris Murphy, and actually throw Jose and Johnny D in that group as well. They're still 8 seconds back. So they are not making up any time, even though they were pretty much good on fuel.
well, they're all racing each other side by side as we got almost 3 wide there. Chris Murphy trying to get away from that group, though.
I think if Jovi and Cole Martin have saved enough, I think this comes down between them.
Oh,
then
wreck!
the line gets loose.
The wreck
Wrecks
turns
the
to 31. No caution, Chad. What is that going to do to Cole Martin's chances of making it into the top 12 in the playoffs, Chad?
Wow, Cole Martin's car
And
is
he's got a broken toe
destroyed.
link. He is in the wall. He's going to need a caution, and a caution comes out for the 9 going onto the apron and parking it. The 31's going to have to get back around to the pits, Chad, before going a lap down. Leader is coming across the start-finish line. 31 is coming out of turn 2, Chad. But he's got a broken right front toe link. He cannot turn that car to the left. And I'm wondering, Shad, if that came up with anything to do with the bump that 31 gave the 9. We'll go back and take a look at it, though, as this throws a giant wrench in this, Shad. Because now also think about the guys who were conserving fuel. All right, so pulling this back up, Shad, we've got... I'll try to get to it, as I had to go a little further back trying to find where it was. So I'll fast forward through this, but Shad, this throws a huge wrench into everything tonight. It throws a huge wrench into Cole Martin's chances of making it to the top 12. He got the 10 bonus points, so he's going to have to finish in the top 10 to be able to make it. This throws the saving that the 2, the 30, the 9 wasn't doing out of the box. It throws the 3, the 31, the 7, the 22, all of their strategies out the window. This restacks everybody. It's going to get nuts here with coming to probably 10 to go when we get this thing back and going.
Yeah, I just would hate it for Cole Martin if that's what cost him a shot at the top 12. You know, Austin Walton has been involved in a lot of wrecks this season. Not all of them his fault, but, you know, here you are up here running with the front runners, and you just lose it and wreck a guy that's fighting for a top 12, and you're not. So I don't know. Cole Martin, I think, went a lap down because of it.
So we're looking at it now as they go through turns 1 and 2. Austin Walton coming across the right side, or coming off turn 4, sorry. Gets loose, turns down right into the 31. 31 going into the outside wall, breaking that toe link. 9 bounces it off the wall, but seems to be okay. 31 trying to make it around turn 1 and 2, but no caution comes out. Goes into turn 1, and that toe link is broke, so he cannot turn left. And Austin Walton pulls it down to the apron, spins it out, hits the inside wall. And I think he's going to stay on the lead lap, Shad, because of that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to throw a pretty good wrench into everything, I think.
I feel like he brought out the yellow, but he caused the caution as well. I mean, he caused the wreck, and then because the caution didn't come out, he spun on the apron, which then brought out the caution. I don't know what that's looked at as far as from the owner or from the admins or the race control watching it, but that almost to me looks like a possible on-purpose caution to keep himself on the lead lap.
I don't know, because he's down there on the apron, and obviously we all know the apron is not, you know, you're not supposed to be going very fast down there. It's really loose, and I don't know, because if you're going to pull one out, yeah, if you're going to pull one out on purpose, you wouldn't want to hit, the wall more.
Well, he knows he's got the fast repair. And he already had damage from the contact with the 31 and hitting the wall.
Yeah, but then he hit. He gets loose and hits the wall. When he wrecks on the apron. So I wouldn't expect, if you're gonna wreck on purpose, to wreck even more.
Well, you gotta bring the caution out somehow.
Yeah, and I'm surprised it actually would throw it because he's down on the apron.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Cole Martin now, Kurt, going to be a lap down. He's going to be right there with the other cars that are a lap down as well. He's going to need a quick caution, though, to be able to get back on the lead lap to have any chance at moving up through the field.
Well, I'll go and grab Jovi Ray real quick. We'll talk to him as he's going into turn 1. Jovi, you got a copy of this is Swats and Shadowlack in the booth.
What up?
What's going on in that 31 DeWalt? You got up front. We've got 11 to go. You going to be able to keep it up front, get that first win of the season before the end of the regular season happens?
I hope so.
Well, it's coming down to the last race of the regular season. Are you willing to do everything you can do to get that first win, or are you just going to let it roll out since you got the playoffs after this?
Yeah, I got the playoffs in this. I don't want to kill people's playoffs chances for a dumb move for one race.
It's for a win, though. Come on.
Yeah. It's all about the big trophy at the end, baby.
Well, Jovi, we seen you and your buddy Cole Martin, riding in the draft of the 2 and the 9, and both of you were clutching it. And I think, if you guys could make it on fuel, it was going to come down between you two. Then the 9 gets loose and takes out the 31. Now the 31 being a lap down. How are you on this quick run? Because obviously the tires aren't going to matter. You got to burn them off real quick.
Well, I hope I have good tires. We're about to find out right now.
All right, I'll send you back, Jovi. Good luck.
Later.
All right, Shad, this is going to get questionable here. We've got a lot of action that can happen in 11 or 10 laps as we got left to go here. Jovi gets a great jump on the field, Shad. Jason Blaney, though, coming on the outside. We know he's got the short run speed. Does 10 laps long enough for him to stay up front. Ryan Crooks, though, underneath him going through the 1 and 2. Jovi getting a good breakaway. Chris Murphy in the 7, battling with his teammate Jose Ruiz, who's second in the points. Chris Murphy needing to stay up here to stay in the top 12. We've got so many different other drivers contending to try to get in. Johnny D sitting in 7th. He could possibly get into the top 12, Shad, with Cole Martin now slipping out because of the wreck there. And he's in front of John Tiller, who's in 10th.
Yeah, 31 of Cole Martin. I think right now Kurt sits in the lucky dog position as they run, so Cole Martin's going to need a caution, Kurt. And he about almost got one, though. The 10 of Sean Walton got loose, and that allows that 45, though, Kurt, the car he's battling with for that lucky dog to get around him. And there's the caution.
Oh,
and Cole Martin's in it.
Yeah, Wesley Jeanette also in it. We saw him spinning around there, getting tossed like a rag doll there. And Cole Martin's going to be in it, Chad, and I think he's going to have some heavy damage as that car, Wesley Jeanette's, was almost about a foot off the ground when it made contact with the front of Cole Martin's right front. So I'm going to guess he's going to have some heavy damage to the right front of that car. Wesley Jeanette going to have the chance to use the fast repair.
Yeah, Cole Martin does have quite a bit of damage on that right side, and unfortunately for him,
not going to get the lucky dog either.
Yeah, not going to get the lucky dog. That should go to that 45 machine.
And he's probably not going to wave around because they've only run 6 laps.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to pit here as far as the front runners.
How far back down the list would you go to pit, Chad?
Well, they all just pretty much pit, I believe. So, if anything, pitting now actually hurts you.
I mean, if they have 6 lap fresher tires, does that help? We've only got 7 laps to go. We'll probably go.
Yeah,
green
but we've only ran
5.
one green. Not even one green flag laps, and then that takes 3, 4, 5 laps before the tires even get up to temp. So
my question is for like Bill Hills, John Osborne, who's sitting 9th and 10th, but there's only 15 guys on the lead lap. Does it hurt you to come down, grab tires, and try to get up to like 7th?
I think it does because of the tires taking 4 or 5 laps to get to temp to where they are fast.
But are we done with cautions?
I don't think we're done.
So could you have a little better extra tire for some cautions to come out? But then again, you might be putting yourself at risk being in the back.
Yeah, I just don't think the tires help you here with them taking a handful of laps to come in. if you put new tires on, you're not going to get the laps to even get the heat back into them. So I think, unless you have damage, you're staying out.
Well, we've got a couple different guys up there, Shad, with no wins. You got Jovi Ray, Jason Blaney, Chris Murphy, Jose Ruiz, Johnny D, Brandon Watkins, John Tiller, John Osborne, Bill Hells, all in the top 10. The only winner in the top 10 is Ryan Crooks. And I'm going to try to find Jason Blaney real quick to pull him up here and talk to him, since we just talked to Jovi Ray. Jason, you got a copy of this of Swats and Shadowlack in the booth.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on that 22? You've been bad fast all night. You've been up here in the top 5 pretty much all night as well. What do you got to do to get this first win of the season with only 6 laps to go? We seen you at the end of last season start coming on strong with wins at the end of the regular season. Is this a repeat of last season?
Well, I sure hope so, but hopefully that didn't jinx me. But
I don't believe in jinx. Come on.
I don't know, man. Fuel saving, I was a little bit better on than some of the other cars, but long run, full speed, I didn't have the pace compared to these front guys. I had short run speed, which we're in the situation for that. I don't know. I gotta be a brick wall on the track. Unfortunately, I can't really give a spot. I gotta keep my lane and where I want it, but kind of depends on where I start here. If it's low or high, it kind of depends on how I get the run, but it's really hard to pass when you're the second place car. I've noticed on this track tonight. Once you get into that 2/10 bubble, it's really hard to make the pass. So some magical things got to happen, or I've got to be able to grip up these tires and find a lane that works, but only can be hopeful here, guys.
Well, Jason, you're not 100% locked in, but you're pretty close. How important do you weigh your options of getting that win and making an enemy, or just securing yourself with a solid finish to make sure you're in that top 12?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't say there's really an enemy to make. I think it's already kind of there. We've had some run-ins this year, so I'm not going to wreck myself out of a race. I'd like to actually get to the checkered flag this race, so if I feel like I can't do it without jeopardizing where I'm going to be running or dropping 5-6 positions back, I'm going to try and tuck in behind. But obviously you're not racing if you're not trying to go for a win, so I'm going to try and figure out if an opportunity comes to me.
Go for the win, baby. Come on. All right, I'll send you back down to your Fueled Up Motorsports. You guys have a good luck on the rest of the race. You got a couple of friends in that grouping right with you, so maybe we can get Johnny D and John Tiller to get up there and help you.
Oh, I hope so, man. But thanks, guys, for bringing it in. Hopefully we can give you a show on the broadcast. All right, send him back down, and I'm going to do a quickie here and pull up Chris Murphy just to tell him good luck. Chris, you got a copy of this is Watson Shadowlack in the booth.
I got you.
Just wanted to tell you good job on not really having any bad incidents tonight, and good luck to getting to the finish.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Shad, you got anything for your good buddy in the 7?
Murphy, you don't need the win. Just bring her home where you're at. You're in the top 12.
Sounds good, but that win sounds nice.
All right, good luck, bud.
Thank you.
Well, Kurt, I was sitting on board with the 31 while he was fixing his damage. The car looks pretty good now. But he's still going to need that caution and be the first car a lap down to get that wave round. We could see a string of cautions, Kurt, here with everyone being aggressive.
Yeah, we got some guys who need some wins to get the extra points. We've got a bunch of guys who are in purple up on the screen, Shad. I think we're not done getting hectic here. But we're into the restart zone. Jason Blaney, Jovi Ray going to start them off here down the front strip with green flag waving. We'll go into turn 1 with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Murphy got a good jump, but it was too good. He just ran right in the back of Jovi Ray, shot Jovi Ray out, but unfortunately he lost his momentum, and it's going to cost him 3 positions because of it. But he's going to settle in 5th place right now, but here goes Blaney, Kurt, for the lead on Jovi Ray.
Ryan Crooks, Jose Ruiz on the bottom. Those two are locked into the playoff, Shad, so they got nothing to lose other than maybe creating an enemy. But if you're Ryan Crooks, you've won 4 races this year. Does anybody not have him as a target on him? But look at Johnny D coming up through, Shad. Now moving up into 6th, down the bottom with Brandon Watkins trying to get underneath Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy getting a little sideways there, holding on to it, getting side by side with his teammate Jose Ruiz again, going for 4th position. Jason Blaney out front, Shad, now coming to 2 to go.
Yeah, and if Cole Martin has any chance of getting a caution, now is the time, as he is in position for the lucky dog if a caution would to come out. But right now, Kurt, everyone's looking to be pretty clean and green.
Down the backstretch they go, Shad. 2 to go, coming through 3 and 4. We'll come to the white flag for one more time. If we hit the white flag, first caution thrown ends the race. Jason Blaney a little high, Shad. Jovi Ray on the bottom, getting pushed by Ryan Crooks. Can they get back by the 22? Jovi Ray seeking that first win of the season. 22 of Jason Blaney seeking the first win of the season. Ryan Crooks looking for his 5th win of the season. Chris Murphy looking for his first win. Jose Ruiz looking for his first win. A lot of first-time winners could be done tonight, Shad, but it's going to come down the backstretch. We go on the white flag like Ryan Crooks looking low underneath Jovi Ray. Coming up into the turn 3 and 4. He makes contact with the 22 coming out of turn 4.
It's going to be 3 wide for the win,
wide, coming
Kurt.
to the finish.
It's going to be Ryan Crooks.
Ryan Crooks gets it.
Crooks. And I believe Murphy gets 2nd.
And they're wrecking after the finish line. Ryan Crooks going to go home first. Chris Murphy 2nd. Jovi Ray 3rd, Shad. Jason Blaney was leading on the final lap and comes home 4th, not making the top 3 for the post race, but I think he got enough points to move himself into the next, or the round of 12, Shad. It's going to be nuts here.
Yeah, I think Murphy's good, Jovi's good, Blaney's good, Ruiz obviously was already in, Crooks already in. Johnny D with that 7th place, Kurt. He probably jumped John Tiller. They were tied. John Osborne, though, Kurt, I don't think finishing 8th is going to get it done with those other guys finishing in the top 10 as well. The question is Cole Martin. With the stage win, he comes back to finish 16th. Is that enough to get him in?
I don't know. It'll be close. We'll have to talk to Tyler B. We'll bring him up after we talk to the top 3 to announce who's in. Ryan Crooks, though, giving us that burnout. We'll be back to talk to the top 3 and our owner admin, Tyler B., to announce the top 12 going into the playoff round. We'll come right back. Wow, that was nuts.
Man, if I was Cole Martin and I don't make it, I'd be wrecking that fucking 9 every week.
Yeah, I don't know. Where did Tyler B go? Tell me he didn't leave the Discord. Don't see him go shredder. Don't see him showed up. Don't see him in the A. Don't see him in Flash Brothers. I don't see him in the US. I don't see anybody else. He left the Discord. Chris, you're a lucky bastard. You're lucky they didn't all wreck right there coming out of turn 4. I'm sure you were hoping for it, but it was close. The gap was .02 for Murphy, finishing second under Ryan. And Jovi actually tied, if I'm looking at that. Well, I just messaged Tyler to come back here. We need help. Okay, read off that list again. Yeah. Said John Tiller was in there or not? And Osborne? Okay. Anybody who's not in the top 3, just stay here for a second so we can announce the top 12. Try not to talk or put yourself on mute until we get done with the top 3. Yeah, Ryan, we gotta talk to... we'll go third first. Or actually, no, we'll talk to Tyler B first. Tyler, you got a copy? Alright, I'm going to bring it back after the burnout thing. And if you want to run through the top 12 order, and then we'll talk to the top 3 that finished.
Yeah, what are you doing with 12?
All right, we're back here for Velocity Motorsports race number 11, the final race of the regular season at Las Vegas. And we've got Tyler B coming up here to break it down for us on who will be making it into the playoff hunt. It has been a just exciting night overall for me and Shadowlack up in the booth. Shad, it's been insane to try to keep track of the points, the incidents, the positions, the stage points, all of it. But Tyler B is here to explain who made it to the playoffs into the next round. Tyler B, can you rattle off those names for us?
I sure can. So finishing first in the regular season was Jose Ruiz. Second was Ryan Crooks. Third was Nicholas Goen. Fourth was Jovi Ray. Fifth was Tyler B. Langer. Sixth, Wesley Jeanette. Seventh, Christopher Murphy. Eighth, Brandon Watkins. Ninth, Jason Blaney. 10th, Nathan Mon. Tied for 10th. And 11th was Bill Hales. And then we had a tie for the final transfer spot that went to Cole Martin via best average finish. He tied with Johnny D. So Johnny misses it just by the average finish, and Cole slides himself in.
All right, so those guys are here in the booth with us. Just want to give a huge congratulations to you guys that were able to make it up here into the booth and make it into the top 12. It's been an incredible 11 races so far, especially for myself and Shadowlack in the booth. I'm sure you guys are definitely happy for the regular season to be over. Anybody got any kind of thing you want to talk about real quick before we get into the post race for the top 3 finishing on how you guys finished into the playoffs in the top 12?
Before you get into that with them real quick, I do want to say just to a shout out to those boys, because this is, I've done a lot of leagues so far, and I can't remember a start to a playoff series with this many top drivers in it. And I'm not just saying that to brag or anything. Like I truly mean that. I thought that at the start of the season with how many quality drivers we had come in and join. And that top 12 is stacked. You could easily make an argument for 8 or 9 of those guys being able to walk away with the trophy, in my opinion. So good job to everybody for that, because this is going to be a hell of a playoffs for you guys to call.
I second that 100%. I think we're going to be coming down to the same thing when we get to the end of each round, trying
The
to figure this
stages
out.
are going to matter so much now. I mean, we've kind of been floating through the season, just trying to see if we can gain a spot or two here or there to get those extra bonus points at the end of the season. But now, I mean, if you have a race like I had tonight in these playoffs, you can kiss your ass goodbye, because you're going to be out with how competitive these guys are. They're not going to be losing spots like that. So it's going to be a fun one for you guys to call.
Well, I'll give you a shout out as well. This season has been awesome. You as the owner admin, doing everything you can behind the scenes, doing everything you can to straighten out incidents and points, and doing it all practically by yourself outside of the race control. It's been an amazing season for us up here in the booth, and it's shown on track, because I 100% second the opinion of this playoff is going to be stacked with drivers. You cannot have a mistake. You cannot have an off night. You cannot have a missed race, or else you're done with the playoffs. And the points, or the payouts for each position, I feel like once each round goes on and you guys are still fighting from 12th to 8th to finish, 8th through 12th to get a payout from those spots, or 7th to 5th, or whatever the hell it is, the numbers, to try to figure out each position on getting the payouts. It never stops all the way until the end of the championship for you guys trying to get those payouts and higher payouts in each position. So it's been one incredible season. I can say that for at least myself, for sure, up here in the booth, and I can't wait for the playoffs to start and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's going to be awesome. I appreciate everybody who's been a part of it.
Well, any drivers out there that made the top 12, if you guys got anything to say, now is your time. Don't all speak at once.
We better have a couple say something.
I'm down to the end of the season right now.
I bet you are.
But no.
Yeah, I mean,
what
congratulations,
was I gonna
Jose, getting that regular season championship by 1 point over Nick
Was it
Gow
really 1 point?
without a win as well.
Over Ryan Crooks.
Or yeah, over Ryan Crook. Sorry, over 1 point.
Wow. And then me not getting stage points, that's
Yeah.
a big issue.
You and your teammate might want to think about getting stage points over the next couple of rounds for playoffs.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't know. As long as I stay consistent, I feel like I'll be fine. So, oh well. But I was gonna say shout out to Tyler and Rodney. I think he said he gave up his spot to do race control. So shout out to him. I know he didn't have to do that, but out of the kindness of his heart, he did. And Tyler T, glad to know that he recovered from his medical issue. But yeah, looking forward to the playoffs here.
All right. Any other drivers that are in the top 12 that are not in the top 3 tonight willing to speak? And silence is what we're going to get. All right. Well,
No. I'll second what Jose said there. Appreciate everybody, for putting this league together. It's really been a lot of fun, and can't wait to see what the playoffs look like. But a lot of really good drivers didn't even make it. That's how stacked this thing is. So congratulations to everybody that did, and see you guys at the first race. What's the first one going to be? Indy?
road course.
Road course. All right.
Your specialty.
See how they go. Well, not the last one.
Well,
If I can make it past lap 1.
Yeah. You and your teammate got to figure that one out.
Yeah, for real.
But all right, well, we appreciate you guys coming to the booth. You guys can disperse if you want. Top 3 stay in here, and we'll talk to you guys here in just a second. But Chad, we've got Ryan Crooks, our winner tonight. Ryan, your 5th win on the season. I don't even know how to explain your season. You missed the first 2 races from not being in the league. You join for Texas. You lag out of that race after basically leading the race and having a good race overall. So essentially 3 races out of there, and you come home second in the points by 1 point with 5 wins and an average finish of 8th.
Yeah, it's been a up and down year with the lag outs in the beginning and joining late, but man, so much fun so far this year, and just the competitors on the track. Once you think you have a race under control, somebody new comes up and shows pace, and yeah, that race right there was unbelievable from start to finish. We had some good green flag runs, and uh, I was able to make a move at the end, and I was trying not to wreck Jovi and Blaney, and uh, yeah, just somehow made it work and brought it home. Sometimes you got to be lucky. We've been lucky a couple times and unlucky in others, but all in all, man, it's been a good year, solid year, and we got a lot of momentum. I mean, that's 3 in a row, so we got a lot of momentum rolling into next week.
I forgot to even mention that 3 in a row, back to back to back wins to end the season. If nobody else has as much momentum as you do going into the playoffs.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we started at Dega, track I love, but you got to have a lot of luck, and got super lucky there. Ran in the back the whole day and got up there right when the time was right, and things fell our way. We got that one, and last week at Auto Club, kind of ran really good, ran up front all day, and kind of controlled the race and gave it away on a late restart, and was able to just stay the course and get back up there. And tonight, I was really worried with where I was at. Tried to get Blaney cleared in second a couple times, and I couldn't get him clear. And at that point, I knew really all I had to do was, or what I could do was just try to push whoever was in second up to the lead. That creates just a big hole in the air, and then you got to take whatever run you can get, whether middle, top, or bottom. And yeah, was able to kind of push Blaney up there to Jovi. They got side by side for about a lap and a half, 2 laps, and was able to kind of use the draft to my advantage down the straightaways, and got lucky there at the end. But yeah, that was so much fun.
Oh, Ryan, my question to you is, before that last caution, which took out Cole Martin, you had Jovi Ray and Cole and Austin Walton behind you. It looked like you pit with 40 to go. They pitted a lap or 2 laps after you, and they were clutching it behind you. You were pulling them around. Did you have the fuel at that point to make it to the end?
No, I was going to be short. Without that caution, I was done. I think a couple other guys stayed out later and saved gas, and they were probably going to be good right on the nose, but I was going to be 2 or 3 laps short. I tried to save as much as I could. I came out ahead of Cole Martin by about 1.3 seconds, and tried to manage the gap. And I know Murphy got up there, and Jovi came through the field pretty quick. And once they all got lined up, they ran me down, and I was doing the best I could to try to just use the air to block and enter early, or lift early going into the corners to try to save gas. But I was going to be at least 2.5 laps short, even after trying to save. So when I saw them get together, I was like, oh, please be a caution. They hit the wall and kind of straightened it out, but I knew they hit hard, and they had a lot of guys charging hard behind them. So I was like, maybe we get a caution here, and got a caution, which completely saved my race. And came down to pit, and Jovi did such a good job getting out of his box. I thought I had him because I had a little bit of gap coming down to enter into the pits, and he did a good job maintaining pace and kind of closing in on me a little bit without getting a penalty. And he left his box so clean. I spun my tires trying to get out. I couldn't get back to him, and I knew at that point I had my work cut out. And as soon as he said he was going to start high the last 2 restarts, I knew it was going to be really difficult to get back up there, because you really got to be in one of the first 2 rows so you can get clear to keep momentum. First couple of laps on new tires, it's really tight. It pushes the center off, and after about a lap and a half, 2 laps, that's when it starts to come in. You can really run just about as close to wide open as you can get. So yeah, man, it was crazy ending to that race. I had a huge run coming down the backstretch. I tried the 3 wide earlier and it didn't work. And I had a big run coming down to 3 and 4, and I was like, I got to take it here. And I shot in, carried a lot of momentum on entry. Thought I was going to get up into Jovi, but my thought was, if I can get Jovi to move up a little bit, I know Blaney will be hard squeezing his door, and if that can just, get them to kind of get doored up with each other, it'd probably kill their momentum. And thankfully it worked. I started to slide up a little bit. I definitely want to take Jovi out, so I got on the brakes a little bit, but it kind of helped me rotate and got right back in the gas, stayed on his quarter panel. And I could hear him dooring a little bit to my outside, and I was like, oh, this is it. And when I crossed the line, I didn't know I won until like 1 and 2. I was going through. I was waiting on it to update on my scoring chart, but super exciting race. Very happy to bring that one home.
Well, it was definitely a fun race from up here. That finish was pretty exciting. I actually got a text from my wife saying I was being too loud, so it was definitely a fun ending for us up here. 3 wide coming to the end on a final race of the regular season to go to the playoffs and for the win was massively exciting up here. So congratulations on that. What does this do for you for the motivation for having all this momentum? 5 wins. 3 straight going into a road course. You said you were pretty good at road courses. We know Wesley Jeanette's good at road courses. We know Nick Gowan's good at road courses. And there's some other that are, pretty decent at the road courses. So what does this do you going into the playoffs? You're going to start second in the points, depending on what they do with the bonus point thing. But, what does that do with you for the road course and then going into the second race of the season or the second race of the playoffs to make it into the next round?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, we got a lot of momentum going in right now. Starting high in the playoffs kind of gives you a chance to, take just, smaller chances here or there during the playoffs. Just because, I don't really know what the buffer will be. I don't know how the bonus points will work, but once we kind of see what we got, just a lot of momentum, a lot of speed right now. So, really just, trying to use that buffer to our advantage, maybe be more a little aggressive on strategy calls, trying to bring home the win. I feel like, if we can just put together a couple really good runs and possibly get another W at some point early in the playoffs, it'll, depending on how the races go later, it'll really give us, somewhat of a buffer in case we have a bad race. But yeah, I'm sure I got a text from my wife too, because I'm sure she was downstairs and I was up here screaming like crazy. But yeah, really looking forward to it. I think we got a really good shot. Just got to string together some good, consistent finishes and, just not make a mistake near the end of the race that can take us from, a top 5, top 10 run, out of the top 20. So that'll be key. That's what we'll be focused on. Try to get a little bit of practice in for the Indy road course. Love road courses, but that's one road course I really haven't ran a whole lot of. But I've definitely ran it before. Kind of like, it's really technical at some places with a lot of speed. So these cars are really fun on road courses. I think we got an all-star race next week and a little break, so we'll have a couple weeks here to kind of get ready for round 1.
Well, we appreciate you coming up to the booth, and congratulations on finishing second in the regular season, getting those 5 wins back to back to back, 3 straight going into the playoff round 1. You should be at least in the top 3 for sure to start the playoffs, and we'll head to Indy Road Course. Any shout-outs for you?
Yeah, shout out to both Tylers who helped put this league on. I'm glad to have the others Tyler back. I know he went through some medical problems and he's on the up and up, which is awesome to hear. Was messaging him a little bit earlier last week, so yeah, just glad everybody's kind of back and the league everybody runs or that we put together and all the work Tyler Bellinger puts in to get this thing going and all that he has to deal with all week, to all the cool updates and point standings and everything everybody does, and especially you guys in the booth. Can't wait to go back and watch this and listen to the end. So yeah, thank you guys.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for our winner tonight. Ryan Crooks in the 2 will bring up second place, and that is Chris Murphy in the 7. Chris, we've been watching you all season, and I don't mean to be rude, but you've been struggling is I guess the easy way to say that. If you've had a race this season without a wreck or incident, I don't remember it. Even tonight, you had an incident there, not really your fault, involving the 88 of Tyler B. You didn't wreck on that one, but you did wreck going into pit road. So just a crazy season for you being our champ last season. You probably came in a little bit, at least from the guys who were here last season and raced with you, with a little bit of a target on your back, and you come away tonight with a second place finish to push yourself or to keep yourself in the top 12 in points. You come back, rebound into 7th in the points after just a tumultuous, horrible start to the season with being wrecked out almost in every single one of those races to start. So how did you come away tonight with a second place finish? Because in the beginning of the race, I didn't think you had the speed. It looked like you were kind of just rolling in the back. You got in an incident, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. And then all of a sudden, Shad said, and look at Murphy up here in the top 5. And then you just stayed there. You took the lead. You led a couple laps, and then you had a little mistake going into pit road. You spun, hit the inside wall with the leaders right behind you, and you come out second.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. This season has been absolutely brutal. I don't think I had a race where I did not have at least 4 or 8 incident points. Even tonight, I had over 8 incident points somehow. Yeah, tonight I knew it was going to be a gas mileage or a fuel mileage race when I was looking at the breakdown. So I was kind of gearing myself in that mentality of saving fuel. So I kind of practiced that in that first run a little bit, and in doing so, actually saved a lot of my tires. So I was able to really close that gap down at the end of the stage. I think I finished third at the end of the stage, and then going right from the beginning, I started clutching from lap 1, trying to save enough fuel that I didn't have to save much or anything at all for that final run. Would have loved to have seen it go green all the way. I think it would have came down to me, Blaney, and Jose. I'm not sure how much fuel the guys up in front of me were going to be able to save. Crooks said he wasn't going to make it at all, so that kind of chills me a little bit because I think I really think that we would have had a good shot at pulling away with a victory tonight because I was in go mode at that point. I had no saving or anything like that. But man, it feels good to be up here finally. It's been a long season.
Well, Chris, like Kurt was saying, the season has not been good to you as our returning champ. But finally tonight, you get a full race put together. You had a little bit of a mix-up towards the end of the or beginning of the race that, in my opinion, wasn't your fault. After that, you pretty much were hanging around that top 5, top 8 range. We did see you creep up there in the top 4 and top 3. And then, the craziness happens on that last lap with them being 3 wide coming out of turn 4. And you with the momentum able to find your way on the outside to finish P2. What kind of momentum do you now carry as, finishing second tonight jumps you up quite a few positions for the playoffs, which will help you with playoff points to start the round? So what kind of momentum does that help you carry into these playoffs with your season being, in most people's eyes, pretty bad so far?
I mean, it's definitely great momentum. I think that's the second top 5 I've had in the last 2 weeks. And it's a string of top 10s, which for my season has been, that's really good. Unfortunately, Indy Road Course and Richmond are probably my 2 worst tracks. So hoping I don't screw up too bad there. I'm going to definitely work on my pit road entry. I was hoping maybe that one would have went under the radar and you guys didn't catch that on the broadcast, but
Yeah,
it
right.
sounds like that did not. Yeah, of course. So I'm just trying to minimize the mistakes going into the playoffs here. I think, I can make it at least through the first round. I think I have a really good shot in that the last 3 races or so. Those are some really good tracks of mine.
Well, Chris, I mean, like I told Jose, I think you guys as a team need to figure out the stages. I know last season we didn't have stage breaks. This season, looking at the top 12, you, Bill Hells, Jose, and Wesley Jeanette all have less than 30 uh, stage points. Everybody else has over 40, and including most have over 50. So if stages are going to be huge over the next 2 rounds, you two who made it to the playoffs here are going to have to figure out how to get into that top 10 to gather some of these free points at the stages because they're going to be big coming down to that last race of the first round and last race of the second round. We want to see you try to get to that Final Four championship race again. We'll see if you can do it, but you jump up into, like I said, 7th place in the points, so that's going to help you a little bit. It'll be a complete reset, everybody back to 0, except for the drivers with wins. So Ryan, Nick, and Nate Mon are going to have a little bit of a jump on the rest of you in the top 12 with wins there, but it's not going to be anything you guys can't overcome. Ryan's going to have the most with 5 wins, obviously, but one bad race, as you've seen all season long, can really hurt you. but it's how you rebound. You rebounded on a lot of races where you've been wrecked out twice, and you come back out on the track and somehow squeak out a top 10 or a top 15 to make sure you don't have too bad of a finish for the end of the race. So I would definitely say keep working on that, and then keep working on the pit road entry. You didn't get a pit road penalty tonight, so that's unlike last season. I don't think you actually got a pit road penalty, if I'm not mistaken, this entire season that I can remember. So good job on fixing that part. You just got to fix the pit road entry now. But I'll let you give the shout outs and things like that.
Yeah, thanks for putting the curse on me for the going into the next round here.
I'm trying
Really
to get it in your
appreciate
head
that.
so you can figure it or fix it out.
Oh, no, it's all good. Well, first I got a shout out to my beautiful wife for letting me do this week in and week out. Right now I'm sitting in here talking with you while she's trying to feed the kids and everything. So she's amazing. I could not be doing this without her support. So thanks, honey. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to both the Tylers for putting on such an amazing league. It's been so much fun since I've joined this league. I really am excited to see the competition really ramp up this year and see where it can keep going. And then shout out to you both up in the booth. You guys do a heck of a job week in and week out as well. So thanks for putting on such a great show. And shout out to my teammates as well for being able to push me and bounce strategy ideas off with me, and even keep me a little bit even keeled, because there's been a few times where I've been a little upset during the season and they've been able to help me out. So just it's been amazing, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to you guys next couple weeks.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for a second place finisher tonight in the 7. Chris Murphy coming home second place and pushes himself into the playoff hunt. We're going to pull up number 33. I would say our brides or our maid of honor, but tonight you're going to be a maid of honor or a bridesmaid. But Jovi, this finish was just ridiculous. Like I said, I got yelled at by my wife for screaming and hollering and getting too loud as you guys were coming to the finish line 3 wide, and I guess almost 4 wide since Chris beat you guys to the finish line and was .002 from actually claiming the win. But I mean, what happened there on the last lap where you were chasing Jason Blaney and you guys just went 3 wide?
Yeah, nah, it all started from that restart. I was just trying to keep Crooks behind me on the restart so him and Blaney could be side by side through the first 2 laps. But on that last one, I chose wrong, and he was on the bottom. So Blaney had to run on me and took the lead from me. And after that, in the last corner, I saw Crooks to my inside, and I didn't want to like come down on him. I pushed up. Next thing you know, Doran Blaney, and next thing you know, Crooks just flew by us on jets when it could have just been me and him racing to the line. And yeah, it just happens.
Well, Blaney, with tonight's finish, you
That's
secure
Ray.
yourself. Huh?
Don't call him Blaney. That's Jovi Ray.
Oh, no, he was talking about Blaney. My bad. So, Joey, with tonight's finish, I mean, you were close to being secure, but you still needed to make sure you had a good finish tonight. And then, obviously, coming home P3, that's what you did. Going into that last turn, you and Blaney, were door to door. You slide up the track just a little bit, and it kind of locks you two together, slowing your momentum down. Looking back at it now, is there anything different that you could have done to maybe either lay off of him a little bit to where maybe you keep that momentum up and it don't allow that 2 to get underneath you? And then second question is, with going into the playoffs, we start the playoffs at a road course. You finished top 3 at the last one. How do you feel about going to Indy?
Indy, just just gotta keep it on the track. That's all I gotta do. I'm not super fast on road courses. Want to keep it on the track and just set myself up for the next 2 races after that. But for tonight, I mean, I tried to kept it straight, kept the wheel to the left to come down a little bit, but I just felt the car push it on its own, and I had Blaney on me. There was nothing more I could do. It was either come down across Crooks's nose and wreck myself, or just keep it straight. And we're door to door. I was just hoping that caution didn't come out for that field run hearing that Crooks was short because I was with Cole saying, hey, we're 2 to the good or 1 to the good. Just save as much as you can because we're like, we have 8 seconds on the next guy. Just save as much as you can because we're going to make it if anything happens. But then the caution came out. Just wish that didn't happen because we were sitting there in the catbird seat.
Well, Jovi, we've seen you come home in the top 3 multiple times this season. Ever since you joined the league, you've been pretty much running in the top 3. You've got the average finish of P8, and actually all 4 of you in the top 4 in the points all have averages of P8. You've got the P11 for average start, so you've been doing better the last several weeks of getting a good qualifying time to get you closer to the front. We've seen you start the season where you kind of started in the back and you kind of moved to the front, mid run or late run. And then towards the end of the race, you were there for the final 3 coming to the finish line. You have not got the win. Does that get to you at all, or knowing that you finished 4th in the points and have 40 bonus points because of stage points? Ryan has 53. Jose wins the regular season title, but he only has 27. Tyler B, who's sitting 5th, has 47. Nick Gowan has 90, which is the most of anybody. Does that, satisfy you knowing you don't have stage wins, you don't have the race win, you don't have the finish in the first spot, but you're still here?
The win doesn't bother me. It's just setting myself up for the next couple rounds, just knowing I have that consistent speed to know that I can finish top 3. It's just being there to execute and making sure, keeping the pressure on everyone else to not make a mistake. And I'll just keep taking the top 3s if it keeps giving me more points and more bonus points.
If you finish 3rd every week, you might be able to make it to the championship 4, depending on who keeps racking up the wins throughout the playoffs. But it's going to be I think it's going to be one of the toughest playoffs I've seen in a long time with you guys. Like Tyler B said earlier, and like I reiterated, it is stacked through this top 12. Any one of you could come out here and grab a win at any time, and you guys have all pushed the envelope as far as pushing each driver to be better. Ryan, Nick, the guys, Nate Mon, who's got the wins this season. It's just been it's fun to see you guys elevate to try to keep up with them, and then when you get to their level, they try to elevate to get away from you, and then you got to re-elevate to get to them again. It's just fun to watch that as far as us in the booth. But I definitely appreciate all 3 of you coming up into the booth. I appreciate all the drivers that made the top 12 that we could grab to come up here, and I appreciate Tyler B coming up and breaking it down for us on who was going to make the top 12. Any shout outs from you, Jovi?
Shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Shout out to Belanja for running it. Shout out to the top 3 for some fun racing as usual every week. Shout out to my boys, even though Nick and Nate couldn't make it. Shout out to Cole that he could make it. Stoked for him. Cool for that. And yeah, have a good night, guys.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up our top 3 finishers and our top 12 that made it into the playoff round. Shad, I don't know if you're feeling what I'm feeling, but if the playoffs look anything like what we saw tonight at Las Vegas, these guys were definitely going all in to try to get to the playoffs or get that first win. Going 3 wide, almost 4 wide to the finish line. It's insane, and we've got another 5 races to go. We've got the All-Star race next week, where points don't matter. So any vendettas, any arguments throughout the season could be settled during an All-Star race that does not matter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be at Bristol. So it's definitely a place where you can find that enemy that you want to pay back. But then these guys got to start shifting focus to this road course. I'm out here right now actually doing some laps on it, and it ain't fun. Out of road courses that I've ran, this one is definitely, you're out of the throttle a lot more. The corners are just extremely slow, and the track's pretty slick. So, like Watkins Glen, Sonoma, you're on the throttle a lot, and that's where you make up a lot of your time is getting back to the throttle. Here, not so much. But speaking of tonight's race, I mean, just one heck of a show for us and the people watching. To end the season and to figure out who's in and who's not. And to look at the points from first to 12th and see that it's only separated by about, I think, 80 points is astounding. Now then again, Nick Allen did miss the last 2 weeks. It might, it probably wouldn't have been that close. But either way, the way it is, Ryan Crooks missing 2 races, then lagging out of another, and almost finishing the regular season as the champion with 5 wins. Yeah, some of them were a little lucky, and yeah, he might have given away a couple. So, 5 wins either way. He's got to carry in the momentum, but the problem is, Kurt, when I look at the schedule, the first race is a road course. Nick Allen, if, that person that was in this league didn't cheat, Nick Allen would have won that road course by probably almost a minute. And that's not saying anything about, the rest of the field. It's just Nick Allen's that quick. Is the rest of the field going to be putting in the time at this road course? It's going to be huge. If you go and have a really bad night at Indy, it may screw you up for the entire first round. To where some guy that maybe sitting in 12th has a decent night, at least keeps the car on the track and doesn't wreck it. You may find yourself 20 points back, having to try to make that up at, the other tracks. And, it's a nice wrench thrown into the schedule, something we didn't have last season. And, I'm just looking forward to it. Tonight was amazing. Didn't have that many cautions. We had great side-by-side racing. And I think the guys that are in the top 12, Kurt, are the guys that should be in the top 12. I feel bad for Johnny D missing it out on a tiebreaker. And, John Tiller missing it by 1 point. I think John Osborne missed it by 6 points.
Yeah, from 10th to 15th, we're separated by 11 points.
Yeah, so John Tiller missed it by technically 2 points with the tiebreaker. Osborne missed it by, I think, 7 with the tiebreaker. So, I mean, just crazy. And Osborne finished second, Kurt, last year in the championship behind Chris Murphy. And, Chris Murphy gets a chance to defend his title. He's going to have to find a little bit of speed and consistency. And then Jose, a guy who was in the Final Four last season, finishes the regular season off, even though he hasn't had an amazing season. But like you always say, he's that silent killer, and silently he finishes first in the regular season. So just a great thing going in this league right now. And I think these, playoff rounds are just going to get even more exciting, and the pressure is on, because we can see right now, Kurt, how 1 point makes a difference. And stages are going to be king for sure of who moves on, who doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, 11 points being separated between 10th to 15th is insane. 5 points separating 10th to 12th. 12th to 15th is separated by 5 points as well. So, I mean, or 6 points. It's just, it shows you how many quality drivers are in this league and how tough the competition is to finish in the top 12 for the regular season. I mean, the top 2 are separated by 1 point, and the guy in second missed 3 races essentially. So it's crazy. But can't wait to get to the road course. Can't wait to see what happens in each round, and then getting to that Final Four championship. I don't know who's going to make it, because, like I said, one bad race could throw you out of the playoffs. Finishing last in a 20-car field and having guys, finish in the top 10 consistently all season. You got 4 of them that have average finishes of P8. So if you don't finish in the top 10, you could be looking at not making it at all. And that's not even just wrecking. If you wreck and you finish P20 in one race, you're definitely probably not making it to the next round unless somebody else or multiples have bad races. But road courses are equalizers. Short tracks, it's short track racing. We'll see what happens there. We'll bump and runs come into play at Richmond. We'll, guys get loose, guys get tight. It's the last race of the first round. Does the aggressiveness go up? We saw the aggressiveness go up tonight. And then we go into the second round where we have 2 races. That can happen again, just like the first round. And then we'll have the second or the last race in the second round. Aggressiveness goes even higher for the Final Four to make it. And then obviously we get to the Final Four, and it's you know, time to go, win or go home. And then there's guys out here who don't have wins. They're still looking for that trophy. There's guys out here battling for payouts from 12th all the way to first still throughout the playoffs, whether they're knocked out of the playoffs or not. They could still advance their position in the points to collect a bigger payout at the end of the season. Those guys are going to be fighting as well. So there is going to be battles and aggressiveness from top to bottom throughout this entire run of roster that we have going into the playoffs. Including the guys who are not in the playoffs. Like I said, searching for trophies, going for the trophy win. Johnny D won the last race of the regular season, and he was not even in the playoffs. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Can't wait till get there, and we'll see what happens next Tuesday for the All-Star race. There is a winning prize for that race as well. And then we'll take that week off while I'm on vacation. We'll come back and start the playoffs fully straight through, and we'll see who comes out as a champion. But I appreciate all the people out there watching, all the chat members, Sandra Nielsen, Johnny D's grandmother that comes out every single week, Allison Rossman, who was out there reading on Johnny D as well. Just a lot of people who've been watching throughout the season at these great drivers and this great league to see, who comes away with it. So appreciate you, Shad, as always, being in the booth with me, and we'll see what happens next week at Bristol for the All-Star race. Catch you guys later. Thursday, I should be in the booth with Repeat again for another race. We can watch Ryan Crooks try to go out and get another win for the Spartan Challenge Series. And then we'll be back next Tuesday, like I said, for the All-Star race, same time, same day of the week. And just thank you, everybody, for coming out.